Thanks very much. So welcome everybody to another chapter of the Welsh Esports League. I'm Field Master John from Blackburn and very pleased to be here showing you what's going to happen now. We're actually on the end of the group stages. Last week, it was season 10 of the Welsh Esports League, but during the second season that Chess has actually been part of it, and we're very pleased to be here. But we have basically 10 teams competing it out to get as many points as they can to be the overall Welsh Esports team. And of course, Chess is a big part of that. So many of these teams are trying to get the best Welsh talent to represent them to get as many points as possible. There's a little bit of money in it for them as well, which is always nice to see. We played rounds 1 and 2 last weekend, and we'll jump into the group stages and the group standings at the moment to see how they go. We've changed the time control this season, so it's actually 4 games of 5 plus 3 in the group stages, which will go to Armageddon if it's tied at 2-2. So that's what they're playing at the moment. So it's a bit of a reduction from the 10 plus 5 they were playing last time, but more games. So we get more games from them. They get faster games. We're hoping for more volatility, and it did not disappoint last week as we got our very first Armageddon game with Not Against 61 claiming his victory. Actually, he didn't even score a single point, I don't think, last season. It was 2-0 down in this match. He actually came back to make it 2-2 and then won the Armageddon. So Not Against 61 of the Wolfhounds, really doing them quite proud. But let's see where the standings are. So let's have a look here. We've got Group A and Group B, as you can see. And the Wolfhounds, obviously, with Not Against 61 coming in they didn't retain the services of Predrada 88, who was the Iron that won it for them last time. Maybe is a little bit too busy with other things going on, but Not Against 61 currently leading the way. And Group A is absolutely wide open. We have here the Wolfhounds on 6 points, 2 out of 2 wins. And then you've got closely followed by the Pit Ponies and the Wizards. So Pit Ponies have got 2 really good players playing for them in Marine and Tutankhamun. 2 really good over-the-board players as well that play online. They're sharing duties tonight. Marine played last time out and won his match, which was put them in a good spot. Of course, they've only played 1 game. They had a bye last week as well. So Tutankhamun stepping in today to play the 3 matches, which will give them the... they're going to be probably the favourites to win this group, I should imagine. But we do have the Wizards and Decode, who went down to Marine last week, but won his other match. And you've got 2 more matches to play tonight. And if he wins both of those, they could be taking the top 2 spots, but it really is really close between those. We've got the Pirates and the Robins. I think the Robins, unfortunately, can't make tonight, so I don't think they're going to be making any more games. But that means that those 4 above them are likely to make it through to the elimination category. Group B is extremely close. We had the Welsh Tiger representing the Dragons again last week. He won 2 matches out of 2. He's got a really difficult fixture this week, playing against the first game that's going live right now against Ethan RJ, who's playing for the Artists. New player coming in, young player of Welsh chess, probably one of the most up-and-coming Welsh players, I would say, at the moment. Got his rating over the boards to over 2,200, which is quite a big deal. Dropped back down a little bit, as you'd expect. But you know what? He's actually coming into this, and it was actually a really good match with the Sea Dragons Bulanov, who came second last season. Bulanov just edging it 2.5, 1.5 in a phenomenal matchup. And these 3 are definitely, they're all 3 title players, the Artists, Sea Dragons and Dragons. These 3, anything can happen. You could actually have a situation where, I don't know, so Bulanov beat Ethan RJ. Ethan RJ could easily beat Welsh Tiger, and Welsh Tiger could beat Bulanov. They could have like a triangle kind of beating each other. Who claims the top 2 spots then? It could go down all the way down to game points. So this is going to be an absolutely thrilling matchup, which is going to be decided tonight. We have the Goats, which is not Lightbringer, who's going to be playing for them. And he's got a really key matchup coming up against Tribal Esports, because there's only 4 spaces. One team's going to get eliminated tonight. We're not going to see any more of them. So we've got not Lightbringer. He's going to be playing against John 313 at the moment of the Tribal Esports. Now, it's a bit unclear, actually, about... I did start the games only a few minutes ago, and we had... I did have a message saying that John 313 might not have shown up, so I'm hoping to hear that he has actually turned up for us and actually is going to play. Otherwise, that will give it through to the Goats, and they'll actually go forward. But okay, let's move on to the chess.com screen and actually start having a look at some of these games, because we've got some really good matchups going on. We're going to start actually on Group B, because one of those top of the title matchups is going on right now. I believe this is still the first game. So this is the artists, Ethan, Rafe, Rapper, and Jones. Okay, so John 313 did turn up. So hopefully they're rematching now and actually playing. So they're just rematching. We're just doing the things a little bit differently this week. We've worked very closely with chess.com, who've been a massive help in actually creating this event. You can see I'm actually going from the chess.com events page here. And all I need to do is I put in a command that actually starts the games, which tags it in with the event. And then actually they should just rematch and the game is started. So you can see here how we've had game one here between Ethan RJ and Welsh Tiger. We've got a result there, and they're actually just starting their second game. So let's go back and have a look and actually what happened in their first game now. It looks like Ethan RJ won this first game, which is absolutely huge. So let's just go back here and see how he actually won this one. So we have here the famous London system, which everybody loves, with bishop f4. You can play this on move 2. You can also play it on move 3 here, and we're actually probably going to see, so e3 is an interesting kind of move order. So the idea is that queen b6 attacks this pawn on b2, and it's like, what are you going to do about it? I believe there's some crazy stuff where you can actually just sacrifice it by moving the knight out of the way. But here, okay, so e3, c5, and we get all this common stuff, and here queen b6 does put the attack on this pawn and saying, what are you going to do about it? And queen c2 is very common. We saw this actually, I think it was Ethan RJ playing against Bulanov last week, actually, who did exactly the same thing. And, okay, he goes g6 here. I'm pretty sure that we saw last week some crazy stuff going on with this kind of bishop sacrifice happening, where if you take the bishop, we take the pawn, and then we might win the rook. But it got very crazy indeed. Here, Welsh Tiger electing just to play g6 and keeping it simple. But after the developments, and here it looks like Ethan RJ knows his stuff, because here he can throw in this d takes c5 move. Rather than doing anything about his queen, he's like, no, I'm just going to attack your queen instead, to swap these pawns off first before blocking it. And he gets an okay position. I'm not actually thrilled with this position for white here. And actually, this is maybe a little bit of a thing here. So you see here how black goes e6. I'm a bit unsure as to why he's done that. This pawn on d5 was not actually defended. Why not just castle here? It makes more sense to me, but maybe I don't know my theory, because what I really want to do with this pawn on e7, I really want to bring it to e5. We can't at the moment because there's 2 attackers and then we've only got 1 defender. But if you castle, stick a rook behind it, and then you're ready to play e5, that's something that you could do. You could also reshore up this pawn with another rook, and then that means this knight will be free for your bishop to support the pawn advancing. So e6 seems like a bit of an unclear move to me, and this gives Ethan the opportunity to launch an attack in the centre, which is really, really strong. Okay, and this normally wouldn't happen, of course, if black had played it differently. But okay, we get to this typical position. Let's see what happens next. b4 is a very committal move, and the reason why this is a committal move is because the pawn on c3 now is a backward pawn, and what that means is no other pawns can actually defend this pawn on c3 now. And you can already see that black has kind of got lined up the heavy artillery to attack this. So I'm interested to see how white develops this. And really, maybe he just doesn't care about it. He says, I don't care, I'm playing h4 and I'm going to attack your king. Is potentially one way to go about it. But okay, yeah, so just a few kind of like minor errors here creeping in, like queen c6, and he's attacking, he's putting pressure on this. He's not ready to take it, but he wants to take the pawn on a4. But here Ethan just finds a really nice move of knight d4, and I'm guessing if he takes this, does the queen get trapped in? Because he goes back. So why not go to c7 first of all? So little things like this, queen takes here, I'm guessing this queen's getting trapped in, and that would be the end of the queen. The knights are covering all of these squares, the queen would be trapped. So little things like that are making a big difference. And here rook e3, and I'm just wondering, is this pawn takeable? Can this pawn be captured? Why is that pawn not being taken? Maybe it's to do with the pin that could happen, but that doesn't make sense. Well, it gets quite messy actually, because at some point there's going to be a pin to the queen, so that's probably why he didn't go for it. And electing instead to do something different, it dropped a pawn and he won it back, but Ethan's attack on the king's side is happening, and this pawn here, it could prove useful in the endgame because this king's not got the out square of g7, so I'm wondering what happens. Okay, nice move, knight a5, really nice. Disconnecting the rook's under attack, and he's struggling to defend that rook at the moment. So this knight is tied down to defending the rook. The queen's also helping, but can't really get out of there, can it? Oh, and now because of this pressure, where he was trying to get out of this. The knight was under attack. Black's pieces. This is the phase of the game where this game was won. Absolutely beautiful kind of passage of play here. At this point, anything can happen. This is a definite win for white, having the pawn on h6. But at this point, the pawns are quite dynamic. Anything can happen. Knight a5, beautiful split of the rooks. And then it's just these kind of moves here. c4 is not the move that he wants to play because of bishop e3. And bishop e3 hits the knight, and then all of a sudden wins a pawn due to a beautiful little pin on the d file. Is this the end of it though? He loses a pawn in the center, so okay, maybe not the end, but the prop difference is this one's a really passed pawn, which is far away from the king, whereas these extra pawns here, they can't really get to the end, so they're not passed. So this passed pawn probably decides it, and that's why he wasn't bothered about losing that. And queen here check, and the problem is that the bishop covers this square, so he has to go back with the bishop. If he takes with the queen, then you just take back with the pawn, and it's checkmate. So to follow. So really nice game there by Ethan. But of course, it's only one game. We saw that. Why? I don't know why John 313 and not Lightbringer's game hasn't started for game 2. So wondering what's happening there. So we'll see. Maybe they can tell me in the Discord if they are paying attention. So I just had a bit of a comment from the chat there. London system and everybody lives in the same sentence. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that either. So okay, so game 2 of this is a Welsh Tiger as white here, playing against Ethan. Just wondering what the opening was actually, just going back to it. Okay, so Sicilian O'Reilly variation. A6 is a bit, beginners, you don't want to look at this. Moves like this aren't stuff that you want to do. However, these guys, they kind of know what they're doing, and this is a well-known opening that's being played. I think d5's interesting here by Ethan. Really aggressive stuff to take so much center. So usually you'd have this kind of position where these pawns like this, it feels almost like black's white and white's black. Black's got more space here and is probably just enjoying it. But, white's still got a decent position and anything can happen. And okay, it's very closed, isn't it? Look at all these pawns, completely closed against white's pawn barrage. Anything can happen in this game, and this kind of queen side kind of stuff, this open A file, I don't quite know who that benefits. Probably black, actually. Black's probably going to be able to get their rooks across pretty quickly, but if they all get swapped off, then there's not much point to doing it. So I don't know how anybody's going to win this game, although this pawn on h5, that could mean that, knight b5 happens. Anything can happen here. This could be like a checkmate going on. Anything can happen, so there's a lot of checks. I reckon this could even be a perpetual check. So we'll stay with this game for a second before we switch over to another one, because I think this might even potentially end. Just going to check the Discord chat just to see if John 313 and Lightbringer started their second game. Because we know it works, because Welsh Tiger and Ethan, RJ, have definitely restarted, and it's all gone fine. I think this could end in a draw. I really do. Going to keep checking. Yeah, they're taking perpetual here. Draw. So Welsh Tiger does not manage to do the business with the white pieces. Ethan RJ currently in the lead with that one. So they're going to rematch for their third and fourth games as we flick around. So we had this game between John 313 and Lightbringer here. So what happened here at this point? So actually, what's the end result here? Okay, so John 313 did win this game. How did he win? Rook takes pawn? How is that a win for white? Did he win on time maybe or something? Don't even know. What happened? Somebody in the chat tell me. Why did white win here? Oh, he just missed. Did he just miss that he could just do queen takes rook? And he resigned. With 20 seconds on the clock, you don't resign there. Yeah, maybe just takes the rook, but still with 20 seconds left. I know it's 3 seconds increment, but you still play on. Let's have a look what happened then. So we got a nice Sicilian. Yeah, it could be that they didn't use the rematch function. I don't know why they wouldn't use the rematch function. Let me just message them both. on that. Let's have a look at their game. Okay, so d5, really nice response to the Alec Sicilian. The other main move is knight f6 instead of d5. So they say they did. Okay, I don't know what went wrong there. So knight g3. Okay, takes, c4. Yeah. Castles. Oh, look at this. So look at this. I really like this knight on f4. I really like the attacking play by black here. White is definitely on the defensive. And then h3 is played. And fair play to Lightbringer. He's just gone, do you know what? I'll take that. Thank you very much. And I will expose your king. And I would be expecting black to mop up here. But okay, knight fg5, giving away the rook. Many people would have saved the rook there, but actually taken it. And the problem is that the tables have now turned. And actually, it's not black attacking white here and white's king being exposed. White's the one that's going to be coming down, threatening all the checkmates. So stuff happens, and black is a rook on the 2 pawns against knight and bishop, which, you know, anything could happen. This is looking really good for him. E4, I like this move, but does it lose a pawn? Takes, and then, oh yeah, so here maybe there was a queen check and recapturing the pawn would have been really good for white, but instead, knight goes back this way. Really close. 1 e3. And yeah, Tutankhamun playing for the pit ponies. Looks like he's getting a free point here because what's his name? Roman Davis of the Wrexham Robins couldn't make tonight, so therefore he's kind of defaulting all matches. Okay, so let's have a look here. So here, Queen f2 is mate. But of course, King g1 gets out of it. He goes in, takes a bishop. He's completely ahead. Oh, how does this go so wrong for black? So there's a checkmate threat down here. 37 seconds left though, in 21 seconds. Players rated just under 1,000 playing against each other. Anything can happen. And he blunders a full rook in time trouble, and then blunders more pieces and just gives up. What a crazy match that was. So I don't know what's going on there, but they're probably doing some matches, and I don't know why their game wasn't won, but they're having a discussion in chat. Just to double check in. We can upload the game afterwards, yeah, that's not a problem. So I don't know why it didn't do that. Oh, there we go. It's coming up now. So we've got a game coming up now. I think, thanks Chess Arbitress. I think you probably had a hand in doing that. But let's just switch groups for a second. Whoa, Group A, Decode and LPJ are on their 4th game already. Where did the time go? Where did all this time go? They've got through 3 games already. Decode, you just absolutely smash this. So Decode won this first one. Typical Scandinavian. Where's the key points? Here's the key point. Oh, hang on. LPJ. Knight c7 check. Very nice. Takes the rook, but loses a bishop. And the problem is the knight is potentially trapped now. So actually, while it looked good, had to give the knight away, but rook and 2 pawns against bishop and knight. Who's going to win this one? This was actually a seriously close match and close game here. Loses. The problem is the pawns like this are fixed, and actually they can't move, so therefore they're not very powerful like this. And so black was able to pick them off, and unfortunately, slowly but surely, they've all disappear, and then black's able to win the game. So that's what happened there. Let's have a look. So it has gone Decode's way all the way. Decode's 3-0 up already, and cruising to another victory. So I mean, this looks like a bit of a quick. Always opens b4, doesn't he? Always opens b4. Why is it called? It's called the orangutan. Why is it called the orangutan? I know that they picked me up on this last time as well. But it's a good opening if you know what you're doing. And he gets his typical b pawn advanced really far up the board as he usually does. And we get some stuff going on here. So bishop g4, just disturbing this rook, but you know the rook's still got other squares. I would have probably gone to d8 with a rook there actually, just lining up the queen and just overprotecting the pawn. I actually think the Decode's position here is quite good because see this pawn on g7. It looks like there's going to be some sort of bishop and knight kind of combo coming that way that I'd be very worried about. So here, and then queen e7 is the one that falls for it, because now knight f5, and it's like not just g7, the queen, the bishop, the queen's also on the bishop as well, the knight's just deadly, and he just takes the bishop, and that's game over. They went very, very fast then, which was pretty crazy. But then, okay, Decode won again as black. Let's have a look what happens. Same line of the Scandi, slightly different around this area here. Doesn't fall for anything. Decode just gets his king castled rather than going for that fork. So actually, LPJ is actually, not bad at all. Here, he's played a really good opening. Decode maybe just faster or better online to get a bit more grits here. Like, just losing this pawn was just not ideal. And just what to do in this kind of middle game phase is slightly lacking. So, for example, here, nothing wrong with this, but I don't know if I bring my queen back there. I know I don't really like this pin, but maybe I just give up this pawn on a2. You're not going to hold it. I go rook e1, just connect the rooks and see what happens. So, for example, if rook e1, there's a really nice move if rook takes a2, in that you can actually use the fact now that the queen is actually, while this is pinned this way, from the black queen is actually attacking the white queen if the rook moves. This would be better. We can actually do rook takes e6 here, which would be really nice, because the if queen takes queen, we do rook takes queen. And of course, if you take the rook, well, we don't do anything here. We do queen takes queen this way. So that would have been a nice little tactic just to kind of defend the pawn on a2. So here, queen here, and what? Just loses the rook, right? And it's game over. Ah, damn. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate for LPJ, who I actually don't think has deserved to be 3-0 behind here. I'm hoping that we see click on game 4. We see a bit more of a battle here going on, which is good to see. So Decode again has played his 1b4 opening, and okay, bishop for a rook down, Decode. So LPJ is LPJ. Make sure I get those initials the right way around. Is actually winning this game at the moment, and I really hope that LPJ gets a point on the board here, because I don't think the way that he's played has actually deserved to be 3-0 behind. It's been really quite cruel, actually, by Decode. He is representing the Wizards and is really a phenomenal player. Last season really made a mark on this tournament. And I think LPJ actually, very unlucky last week against Not Again 61. Actually can play some really good chess, and it is proving it so far. So we're watching this one. Let's just check around a few things, just make sure I've not missed any messages coming forwards. Okay, so we've been able to add those games back in, which is good. What's going on in chats? Of course, I know that they're more than likely watching this stream, so can't give too much advice out, can I? But, how to win it when you've got a rook against a bishop in a position like this. I think it's tricky, because the bishops, like for example, it's the dark square bishop. The light square bishops match up against each other, but the dark square bishop can just sit on this square on d4, and it says, look, if you want to win the game, you're going to have to sack your rook for my bishop at some point, or something like that. And we've just seen a little mistake from LPJ, playing f4 to try and destabilize this bishop by undermining the pawn on e3, fallen into a little skewer here, and the bishop's going to be taking the rook back, and Decode's going to get himself back on level terms here at the end of this. And it's going to be, this could be an opposite colour bishop endgame, which is going to be pretty crazy. Oh, what a move! What an intermezzo move by Decode. Oh, and that's it. That seals the deal. What a fascinating ending to this. So this was just beautiful. So bishop takes rook, and what LPJ was thinking is, if queen takes queen, I'll do pawn takes queen, and then rook takes bishop. And instead, when he does queen takes queen, rather than taking the queen back, he inserts this move, bishop e6 check, which is an intermezzo or intermediate move, It's called The King Will Have to Move, and then he takes the queen, and it'll be an entire bishop up. And LPJ had seen enough at this point and gone, do you know what? I'm not winning this anymore. I mean, after he takes the queen, he'll be playing moves like rook c7. There's no way back in the game, so I can understand why he's taking that chance, especially with the time on the clock as well. 3:11 for Decode, 1:41 for LPJ. Do you know what? There's a 4-0 win for Decode. I think LPJ has been a bit hard done by that result. So that's another win for the Wizards against the Pirates, I believe. That's just double checking. Let's just have a little look. Make sure I get the right one. Yeah, Wizards have beaten the Pirates there, 4-0. So really, really good play by Decode. But do you know what? It's the way it goes. Let's go and check in. So I'm just going to have a quick check in with Ethan RJ of the Artists against Welsh Tiger of Dragons RFC, just for their endgame before flicking to Lightbringer and John 313 in their crucial match. But here it looks like the Welsh Tiger's got an extra piece, but there's a pawn on a7 which is threatening to get promote, and they will both have seen that he can't take it because queen takes f7 would actually win the queen with a nice skewer. So I'm wondering what Welsh Tiger's got here. He's got an extra piece, the extra knight, but Ethan RJ here threatening to promote a pawn. How does the Welsh Tiger stop this? This would be match, actually. Ethan RJ down to 23 seconds as well. He's a 1.5 half up against the Welsh Tiger. This would seal the match win for Ethan RJ, and that dreaded three-way kind of tie could actually happen if Welsh Tiger beats Bulanov. But obviously Bulanov could win as well, which would. I'm wondering what can Welsh Tiger actually do. He's gone under a minute now thinking about it. Look how safe this king is here. 3 pawns just around it like this. You are not getting at my king. This pawn on a7. It's just a beast. Don't even know what to suggest. What can black play? That's it. He's resigned. Ethan RJ with the victory over the Welsh Tiger. That's the Artists beating Dragons RFC. An absolutely crucial match that's been finalised. They still play one more game for game points, which could be extremely important. So this is still all to play for in this final match. They've just started out there. But what an absolute result. Ethan RJ coming in for his first tournament and while taking down the Welsh Tiger is no mean feat at all. Let's check in with this other crucial match because this is the other game in Group B, and there's 3 title players in Group B, and then there's 2 non-title players, and that's these 2. So they are playing for the basically that 4th spot, really. And I don't think they're going to be able to compete with the title players, but obviously we hope to see some upsets, and if they do, we will shout about it. And here, not Lightbringer, or Lightbringer loses just a quick pawn, but we know in this chess, and here just a full bishop just going through a blunder. Loses a pawn, wins a bishop, gets the pawn back, and now we start to see the doubling of the rooks. Look at the pressure on this pawn on f7 with the bishop included from Lightbringer, and there goes another piece. Knight a5, another piece gone. What a matchup this is, and he looks like he sets up a nice checkmate. Here, queen comes out, takes, rook takes, queen moves, checkmate, win for Lightbringer to take it to 1-1. What a close match this is. And then we have their third game, which is John 313 is playing the white pieces against Lightbringer. And here, like d4 here against the Sicilian after takes, like you want to play the Smith-Morri Gambit, you play c3. And after takes, knight takes, and you sacrifice a pawn, but you get super quick activity. Really dangerous against the Sicilian. Black players have to really know their stuff here. That's the way to play it, but bringing your queen out like this really is how should I say, not a good thing to do, because, well, when it gets attacked, your opponent's just developed a knight, and you want to develop the rest of your pieces, but you can't. The queen goes back, and okay, we get some more developments, like so. And okay, what happened there? So takes with check. Why did he not do like queen takes bishop or pawn takes bishop here? Why was that not played? John 313 here with the mistake of bishop d2, and Lightbringer just says, thank you very much, I will win a piece and be a piece up. And yeah, beautiful play. And okay, you might have lost a pawn here, but a piece up should be enough to win the game. Got to be careful of these pawns though. If these pawns start to get ahead of steam, then we could see something else happen. But in the end, Lightbringer looks like he just about had it under control, sacked his bishop for the pawn that was dangerous, but was able to get so many more pawns himself. Okay, gets his queen and finally rounds up John 313's king with a king and queen checkmate. Very nicely done. Lightbringer goes 2-1 up. So this is again another crucial matchup. You can get the fourth game of theirs coming in. That would be really, really good, because Lightbringer's 2-1 up. Lost the first game, no. John 313 needs to win it to take it to Armageddon. That would be beautiful. If you get to Armageddon, do not click rematch. Because I think I have to send a separate command for an Armageddon game as well. So I'll just put that in the chat for people to see. So let's just have a look. So while we're waiting for that game to load in, let's just have a look at Ethan RJ playing black here against the Welsh Tiger. We already know that Ethan RJ has won the match, but by what scoreline? And this is very important because last season, Welsh Tiger did beat Bulanov last season in the group stages. If that was to repeat, then that would mean that Welsh Tiger of Dragons RFC, Ethan RJ of the Artists, and Bulanov of Sea Dragons would all have the same match points at the end. So providing they beat the other two, who we just looked at. So here, what's actually happened in this game? Let's go back to the start. Okay, so d4, c5, deliberately antagonistic from Ethan RJ. I really like this kind of stuff, and it just forces your opponent to kind of make a decision, especially in online chess. So like, for example, d5, probably the standout move, c3, 4, a little bit defensive already. And he's got an exchange Slav after all of that via a very weird move order. Like g3 here is a bit slow. And so I'm not sure about the fianchetto from Ethan RJ or Welsh Tiger here. Fianchetto bishop, it's definitely okay, but it's maybe not. Here, bishop a3 feels a little like you probably should see queen a5's coming, and then bishop b2, and then okay. So I guess the queen's not that good on a5. Okay, it's a very, very block structure here, isn't it? And what they're both doing here is they're both racing to these two outposts. So white's got a massive control over this c5 square. Would love to put a knight on there, which is why this knight came back to b1. It's going to d2 and then to b3 and then into that c5 square. Black's also going to do the same thing, oh, not there, on the c4 square as well. So we have here knight d7, knight b6, and then into c4. So let's just have a look. If that actually comes to pass, okay, he sticks his rook on c5 instead. And then he uses a different outpost in the end, he uses the a4 square. And actually blunders a pawn here. This pawn on d5 just goes. The Welsh Tiger sacks the rook. Hang on, what? So if the rook's under attack, he takes a pawn, takes it, then he takes a knight. But can he move the knight again? And it looks like you've got a load of discoveries against this queen, but you haven't got discoveries against the queen because you can't do anything with the knight. Knight check's no good because the queen will just take it. The knight, actually, the bishop's unguarded, so the queen's actually going to take the bishop wherever the knight goes. This is a tricky spot for the Welsh Tiger. A very tricky spot. He's also got a bishop hanging on b2 as well. So this is very interesting. I'm just following the kind of the setup to this. So here he gets to this position. He's put the knight on b1 ages ago. Okay, the pawn on b4 is hanging as well, right? So why play a4? Why not just continue with your plan? Knight d2, knight b3, knight c5. It seems to be that seems to be the obvious thing to do. And instead he went for a4. I don't quite get a4. And he can't take this pawn because of the pin of the rook onto the queen, but queen b7 actually threatens this pawn here. Takes. He could have taken that with a queen, maybe. Takes with the queen here, then the pawn on b4 looks doomed to me. Two attackers, no defenders. But, okay, knight e5. Okay, and this unleashes the bishop on this pawn. Knight b6 is what Ethan wanted to do. And then rook c5 just Okay, he's basically being super aggressive against Black's weaknesses. But then after knight a4, the b5 pawn's defended this way. Could he have done rook takes d5 here? Oh, the problem is just this. Knight a4 is just... I think maybe the Welsh Tiger was just a little too aggressive here. And I think he might be in a bit of trouble. He's got 48 seconds left. Ethan RJ's played very quickly at 3.5 minutes. This could be, if Welsh Tiger doesn't find a good move here, this could be a 3.5 win for Ethan RJ, which would be absolutely huge for the standings for the group afterwards. And it really does depend on the Welsh Tiger versus Bulanov matchup. Absolutely huge. 20 seconds left. Welsh Tiger is fuming. He has not roared for this first game. He might have just left and smashed something up, perhaps. He plays e4 with 9 seconds left. Feels a bit desperate. The time advantage is almost worth a point, let alone the fact that there's a lot of pieces hanging here. So can Ethan RJ mop this up? And this will probably be the final game of the group stages. We'll have a look at the last game between Not Lightbringer and John 313. Not Lightbringer is his chess.com username, but he goes by the username of Lightbringer. And hopefully joining me on commentary at some point, maybe not next week, because it depends if he's into the elimination. But definitely, probably in the finals. But it depends how his game goes next week. If he goes through, then well, we can't do anything. Hi everybody in the chat, by the way. Just making sure we're all good. Let me know if there's anything else that I'm missing. Any incorrect terms that I've said tonight. I'm very interested to know what happens. Oh, I think I've just seen the result. So of Lightbringer against John 313. Which is pretty huge for Lightbringer, I think. He will be very chuffed with himself. But we'll stick with this game for now. 15 seconds left. He's built up to the Tiger. So hang on. So Black's a rook up here, but White is threatening to just win the rook back on c6. What Ethan's trying to do here is he's trying to just work out what's the easiest way to keep the material. And the Tiger is just causing some issues. He's difficult to put down, the Tiger. You've got to hunt him properly. I don't know if this is a tactic, by the way, you know, when things have gone really wrong for you in your game, you just let your time go down to something ridiculous like 10 seconds. And you've got a few minutes, and then you just play on increment just to put pressure on your opponent. It's almost like you lull them into thinking that you're about to either let your time run out or resign. And then you keep playing on, and almost that psychological kind of comeback sometimes just causes people a little bit of a problem between it. So, okay, what's the material here then? So he's actually got 3 pawns for a bishop. So I think the Welsh Tiger's done pretty well to get to this point. This is pretty dangerous here. Yeah. Ivan RJ needs to be really careful. It doesn't just let the... Oh, what? King G2? Ah, I would not have done that one. I don't know if swapping queens is the right thing to do. As White there, you probably... Mind you, we didn't have much choice, I don't think, so... Oh, that's a class move from Ethan. So if that was me, I'd probably just have swapped queens, just said, you know what, I'm not losing this endgame. And this is game over now. Ethan's won that. Because the knight can't take, because the rook will take the rook. Yeah, what an amazing matchup. The Welsh Tiger will be back. When do we see the Welsh Tiger again, actually? Because he played 2 last week, so we will have a game off today. So he'll be back at 9 o'clock. Hopefully, he'll be back at 9 o'clock to play his match against Bulanov, Major Coast and Chess.com. That is the match for just after 9 o'clock to come back to. That we're all waiting to see what the result of that one is. That's going to be a really close match there. Just to recap the end of this game, so this was some really good counterplay by Welsh Tiger here, forcing Rook C8, taking here, and you just see this king, and you think, yeah, I've got a little sniff there, but actually it just turns out into nothing. And while this looks pretty good, 3 pawns against the piece, the problem is the white king. There's just loads of checks coming over it, and after this check, like, where do you go? He goes here. There's kind of like other checks here that can happen, but knight takes d4 was quite a classy move. He could have tried like knight h4 or knight e1 to try and give a checkmate like this, but it wouldn't have been as good, actually. And fair play to Ethan. You king f1 here, just ask you what you're doing about your knight, and you've not actually got anything else. But knight takes d4 was a really class move, because actually even here there's nothing he can do. King f1 would be a big mistake because of queen h1 checkmate. Maybe he had to try something along the lines of, well, king h3, you could swap queens this way if he wanted, but kings, maybe even just rook takes f2, to be honest, would also be good. And also king, the king can't go anywhere else really. King g1, you just walk straight back into the checks again, which is not nice. Maybe it's the best though. But queen here, and I'd have been tempted here just to swap queens pretty quickly, but rook c8 was really class because it just keeps the pin going down here, and the Welsh Tiger mistakenly played h4, but after queen takes queen, rook takes queen, like knight a2, like this knight's coming under fire from this bishop soon, and the rook, so therefore knight a2 has to get played. Actually, he could play knight e2. You're not going to do knight takes knight because your rook's hanging, but let's suppose we swap rooks. I guess the problem is we can just play knight c2 attacking this pawn. Although it's not maybe super clear. Can I get this knight to attack the pawn on b5? If he can win this pawn and start pushing it, then he's going to be fine. Which, yeah, I can't see, so I've got like something like knight d3 and then bishop here. And the knight can't actually attack this pawn at all, and we are taking it next go, so that would win for black. Yeah, but Ethan RJ, yeah, fantastic win. Takes that those 3 crucial match points, but also 3.5 is a big game point score. And actually, we have a look at this final game between Lightbringer of the Goats against John 313 of the Tribal Esports. It was 2-1 to Lightbringer. He only needed the draw, and we can see here at the end that he did manage to actually get a draw here. In fact, what happened? Did you just agree a draw, guys? No, you didn't just agree a draw. It's just loading in the game soon. I don't think it's quite loaded the game perfectly yet, so let me click on it again. We just haven't quite got the moves loaded in for some reason at the moment. I can see it on my screen that they did actually play out a full game, so when we've got that, we'll come back to it as well. So let's just have a quick look around, actually, of what's going on. So that if we switch to Group A, we only had the 1 game going. The Rucks and Robins weren't able to field a player tonight, and therefore Tutankhamun of the Pit Ponies was not required and was actually able to get a default win. I don't quite know how to actually... whether that's going to pull through on the results on chess.com here. So the Pit Ponies will have got an extra win on here, but I guess maybe I should have just started the game and then just let his time run out, but that doesn't seem to be fair to me because you're going to have to wait there for ages. So we'll see what has to happen in that case in the future as well. Yeah, really well played. Lightbringer is going to be over the moon with himself because he'll likely have... so the Wizards, the Wolfhounds, and the Pit Ponies will all be on 2 match points, or 2 wins, shall we say, with the Pit Ponies having won both of their games, the Wolfhounds also having won both of their games, Wizards dropping 1 but winning 2, so that will be really close matches coming up in these next couple of matches. So refresh, let's have a look. So let's just have a quick look to Group B. Okay, and we see here that we've got hang on, Dragons at RFC did not, they won their first 2 games last week. by big margins, 4-0 in both times, but then just went down 3.5. So he's still joint leader with the Sea Dragons. Is that the first point for Ethan RJ? Yeah, must have been. So he's got 2 more matches tonight, but he's playing against the Goats and the Tribal Esports. So Lightbringer's got a chance to get a result, and yeah, it's going to be really tough for them. But Ethan RJ of the Artist would be the favourite, heavy favourite for both of those matches, which would take him on to potentially 3 wins. So Sea Dragons against the Dragons, Bulanov versus Welsh Tiger, 9 o'clock. Do not miss out. Yeah, who decided? So Lightbringer's just said, who decided to place the poor noob with the Masters? It's just the way it fell, right? It's just the way it fell. It's quite amusing actually that Ethan came in and just bulked up this the Artists, and then when we look at Group A, actually we lost Pedrada from the Wolfhounds, so therefore we've got no title players in this section of the draw. It just so happened to fall that way. So what an amazing kind of part. You are definitely entertainment. Now, I know that Lightbringer and Bulanov are playing their game. I believe that you're playing it 15 minutes time. You start at 1:15 rather than quick. So they're going to get to come back in a few 1:15 there. Hopefully we started before that, but I will be going to a bit of an intermission now, have a little bit of a break myself, and then I'll be starting the games for the next round. So join us back in at about 7-8 minutes, something like that, and we'll start then. Welcome back to the stream, everybody, and welcome back to the live matches. So we're back for round 4 of the Welsh Esports League. Round 3 had its definite ups and downs. As we had here in Group B, Ethan RJ of the Artist beating Welsh Tiger of the Dragons RFC, which is definitely going to put a massive look at this group as it comes towards the elimination status. Just in case you didn't know what actually happens after the group stage is finished, which will be concluded tonight. But round 4 and round 5 happening tonight, just started at 8 o'clock. Round 5 will happen at 9 o'clock. When that finishes, we're going to have the group standings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Team in spot 5 gets eliminated. The teams in 1 and 2, first and second spot, they will actually go through to the elimination bracket to fight for the top 4 spaces, the most amount of points for their Welsh Esports team in the league. But teams 3 and 4, we don't get rid of them. They're actually going to go into another elimination bracket to actually fight for the spots 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it's not all over. Really important for them to keep fighting for that. And actually, Lightbringer of the Goats just about defeated John 3-3 of the Tribal Esports 2.5, 1.5, which is a huge matchup because it gives him that win. That might mean, because they're up against it in this group playing against 3 title players, it might mean that he's got that 4th spot for the Goats, which means he'll be playing next week. At the moment, anything can happen. We do not know what's gonna transpire. Group A was really exciting as well. Unfortunately, the Wrexham Robins were nowhere to be seen and therefore have had to default their games, but it's good to have them in the league. Actually, technically, Wrexham is actually the closest Welsh place to where I actually live, which is quite unfortunate. So hopefully we will see them coming back next season as well, but they are going to be eliminated if they lose all their matches, which means that we've got some games going on. Not against 61 of the Wolfhounds, had a bye at 7 o'clock. He's playing now against Tutankhamun of the Pit Ponies. That's going to be a really close match. Really interested to see how those two play. And then we've got the Wizards, Decode. He won his first match as well against LPJ or LJP 2306. I always get those letters mixed up of the Pirates. I actually thought that LPJ actually played really quite well. I think it was a little bit unfortunate actually not to actually get something from that. It was actually a 4-0 win in the end for Decode, but that's due to maybe just down to experience and rather than actually, I think the quality of chess from LPJ was actually pretty good. Let's look over to some games. So we've got Not Against 61 against Tutankhamun, and then in the other group we have Ethan RJ against John 313. We do have Bulanov against the Lightbringer. That's just going to be starting a little bit late, so I'm going to wait for them to tell me when to start that match. They have notified me well in advance. I'm going to start with Tutankhamun against Not Against 61, and already you can just see just from the scale of the pieces. I mean, looking at the ratings, I'm afraid Not Against 61, 1468, Tutankhamun 2375. You can tell there's a bit of a difference here, but you just look at how far forward the pieces actually are. It's absolutely huge right now. So this is, this pawn on H6, for example. It's just, it's just so dangerous. So this pawn on H7 is stuck there. The knight's attacking it. The rook has to stay defending it. Throw the H pawn forward. I mean, to be honest, I don't know why. Jukesy in the chat. Why you and Tutankhamun can't play for 2 separate teams. You seem to be constantly in the stream. It's just in case one of you can't make it. You can actually play for 2 different clubs and play every single game if you wanted to. But I know it's quite nice to have 2 players that you can alternate with. You do work well as a team, to be fair. We know we'll definitely get a match from you. But you are good enough here. But we see Not Against 61 actually, fighting back and, talking about someone that can fight back. 2-0 down in one of his matches last week, came back to 2-2, won an Armageddon. Will we see an Armageddon tonight? We've got 3. Obviously, we didn't see it in the last round. We've got these 2 more rounds to go. So hopefully we can get one. But he is a bit worried that I don't think he's castling this side because this pawn just gives white some kind of checkmating possibilities. He's maybe just a little bit scared of. So we'll see how this one progresses. How did they actually get here, by the way? How did they get here? So we get Slav. So this Queen's Gambit here, I'm just offering this pawn. It's not actually a true Gambit, by the way. Not like the King's Gambit. So the King's Gambit is on this side. It's kind of the opposite side to what it looks like. The King's side starts on this side of the board because this is the side that the kings are on, so this is the king side. But the king's gambit is a true gambit, as in black can actually hold on to the pawn, and actually that's one of the good lines. They can start playing stuff like g5 and things. Whereas the queen's gambit is a little bit. It's called the queen's gambit. You think it'd be the same, but it's not the same at all. If they do take the pawn, this is the queen's gambit accepted, but it's actually. You could win it back straight away if you wanted to, but it's probably not the best way for it to actually happen. You can actually play e4 here if you want and try and take that pawn back with the bishop. And it's actually very ill-advised for black to try and hold on to it with a move like b5. This wouldn't be the best way to go about things. So here after c4, we've got the queen's gambit on the board. Many moves. The most common thing is like e6, for example. This is the common way to respond, just so you can take back with a pawn and keep a pawn in the center of the board. But the Slav is the different way to do it, and with c6, and here you're taking back obviously with the c pawn, and it's just a little bit of a different opening. And okay, well, that was a bit different from not against 61. Knight takes. He's losing a central pawn there, inviting white to play e4. And just completely take the center, which is what Tutankhamun does. Actually, this is Tutankhamun's actually debut day for this season. He played last season, did very well, narrowly lost to Decode actually in a match at the start of last season, and actually here, so we let Marine play him this time, and actually, okay, h4, like super aggressive, right? White's got all the center, and because he's got control of the center, it just gives him a little bit more freedom about how he wants to play. And so when he plays h4, he signals his intent: I am coming for you. You do not want to castle this way because I'm already ready. I've got my rook looking down. I've got a pawn here doing some damage. This bishop's joining in. The queen's also joining in as well. Do not castle that side. And actually, probably forces this. I would say this is a mistake from that against 61 f5. I do not like this move at all. I would have just preferred some developing moves, to be honest. Or maybe you can cause your opponent some problems, like queen here attacking this might have been an option too. But he plays f5 and forces the bishop to a terrible square. It couldn't have come to here because e5 would have trapped it in, and the bishop would be lost for a pawn, which would be not very good. So it had to go back to f8, and the lost development, lost space. And you see this bishop is stuck in, not very nice at all. But we don't really see queen b6 is a good decision, because if the queens came off, it would have meant that the attack wouldn't have been as strong. So that's why Tutankhamun retreated, and he's maybe just not quite, followed through with the attack. I mean, this pawn has got 3 defenders now. This knight's having to come back from a6 here. Just to defend it. 3 attackers from white with the queen and bishop lined up and the knight. It's just it's grim stuff, but it survives. And maybe that's the point. Maybe just surviving is what wants to actually happen here. And we get to a situation with queen b7 castles. Okay, they both castled. He's not like any material up yet. This is the problem, right? He's not any material up. This is pretty bad here for black. But he's not losing technically, right? He's technically not behind. And all of a sudden, a few exchanges of pieces. And let's just... this position is not so bad for black anymore. He's actually not doing too badly. Not against 61 with the grim defense. Is actually fought way back into this game. And Tutankhamun has got to be thinking, how did this go so wrong? Because I was winning this game comfortably. And now it's just struggling to actually convert it. He's still got like this pawn on h6, which is giving him some checkmating possibilities. And I'd still expect him to win this game from here. But you can see just how he could lose it. This pawn on a6 is passed. If he gets it wrong here, Tutankhamun could be in a lot of trouble. Not against 61, really playing very, very well. So it's difficult. I'm just replying to somebody else. Difficult for Tutankhamun here. I wonder what he's going to do next at this point. Yeah, it looked positionally crushing, didn't it? let's go back, just see. I mean, how did it go so wrong for white, right? How did it go so wrong? Because a4, queen back. I mean, maybe he could have just done bishop takes knight and just doubled a load of pawns, right? Maybe he could have just done this. Maybe this would have been the best way to go. Just double a load of pawns and just go on winning. But in this case, how do you break through? Because he went for this weakness, but not against 61. He's like a rock, isn't he? An absolute rock. And maybe knight in is just a little bit too. This move here, it feels what I would call a bit forced or a bit fake. Like, it looks good, but you're not going to take here and you're not going to take here, so it doesn't actually do much. Maybe it would have been better to play a move like either bishop g5 or bishop a3. And the reason is that black's dark square bishop is basically his best piece, because his pawns are all on light squares. Swap off the dark square bishops and white's pieces will be even better. That would probably be the way to improve it. There's been a suggestion as well on move 44, right? We're all the way to move 44, are we? Oh, hang on, something else has happened. We've had a lot go on. So we saw it at this stage here. He swapped rooks, threatened checkmate on g7. We knew this would get seen though. Queen c7 defends it. Knight in. The pawn starts marching. Check, check. Queen here. Queen here. And he's taken the pawn on a5. So here, queen takes d5, check, and then take the pawn on a5. Would have been a bit of an improvement for Tutankhamun. Well spotted by Marine in the chat. Thinking, why am I not playing this game? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the pit ponies need to have some tryouts to see who their number one is. Who is the number one in the team, by the way? Who actually has? Who's number one? I don't know if I'm trying to better divide and conquer here. But okay, he finally does pick up the pawns, and actually Tutankhamun should easily convert this now. The pawns connected in the center should actually start to just really. So yeah, it doesn't mean who's number one though, because you've got a no higher rating. Yeah, so I'm assuming Ethan, RJ, and John 313 did rematch. I don't know why that's not pulled through. So okay, let's just see the Tutankhamun win this. Okay, so this is the live position. We're back to the live game now. Not against 61 has defended resolutely. He's got chances still. You know, queen endgame, perpetual checks can happen, but down to 20 seconds on the clock. Tutankhamun should bring this one home. It's just a case of how he does it. Difficult to suggest moves for black because there's checks everywhere. So let's just click off this and just refresh it just so the game pulls through the live actually. There we go. And we can just enjoy the finish to this game. You know, I actually think that not against 61 he's not done himself any injustice here at all. This has been a really good match, and he can resign now, but yeah, there we go. And let's hope that they rematch and start their second game, and it pulls through. So the question is, why is it not pulling through for one, but not pulling through the other? Is the interesting question. So we will go back. So yeah, Tutankhamun of the Pit Ponies takes the first game win against not against 61 of the Wolfhounds, and game 2 is pulled through already, which is brilliant. Okay, so we can click on that in a second. Let's just switch group though. And have a look at what happened. So Ethan RJ was a heavy favourite against John 313. I assume that they're rematching at the moment. Just have a quick playthrough. So this time not a London from Ethan RJ, but a Trompovsky. Bishop g5. And okay, a lot of pawn moves by John 313, maybe thrown by the opening. And okay, we see this move. I don't understand this move h4 here though. It's almost like h4 is played. It feels like it's been played almost like just to say, I'm going to be aggressive and attack you. It's not actually, there's nothing to actually attack here though. Like the pawn gets to here and then what? There's no pawn on g6 for it to attack. Like I don't actually know how h4 actually helps here actually. So maybe that's just me though. But okay, he knows the opening better than me though. All right, it's not pulled in. You have to think about h4 every move, right? Yeah, it's famously called Harry the H-pawn. Okay, you know, I quite like what Not Again does here, though. He plays d5, and after takes, he just So, you know what? I am going to cause you problems. I do not care about the... Sorry, John 313, my mistake, against Ethan RJ. He's given up nearly, what, 1,500 rating points? 1,500 rating points, and he's still attacking. Just double checking, I think we're actually just about to start a third game. I think Lightbringer and Bulanov are nearly ready, so let me just get their match command ready. Just double checking that Bulanov's ready as well. Shouldn't start a game without both of them. Looking at this, I'll just wait for him to reply. Let's just have a look what happens. Do you know what, John 313, you know, you're not... Okay, so here the problem is that the queen's just completely stuck. It can't move anywhere. The knight is covering the other squares. And the queen, while aggressive, you still have to be careful. And he's also down, only used 30 seconds, John 313 has here, and there goes a piece. Wanted to save his queen, which was the right decision, really, but it ends up basically now a piece down against... and his queen's trapped anyway, so it's just game over, especially against somebody of Ethan's talents, and it's just a case of checkmate. So yeah, nicely played, Ethan RJ, who we would expect here to win this quite comfortably. Let me just start another game. They're restarting, so hopefully not like Lightbringer and Major Coast should have started now. If those guys can confirm in the chat for me that it started all good. Or I should actually see it here, shouldn't I? Which would be good. Let's flip around again. Yeah, only 3 matches on tonight. Unfortunately, Rex and Robbins couldn't make it. So we've got Group A, which is Tutankhamun. Oh, this second game's already finished. So we've got Tutankhamun of the Pit Ponies against Nottingham 61 of the Wolfhounds. Tutankhamun's 2-0 up already. They're playing the third match. Group B. Major Coast is... there we go. Round 4 is here, so we got the 2 matches. So this should be pulling through some more games, but we're working on that as to the reason why not. But then we have Lightbringer against Bulanov, and you know, he's played the Scandinavian there. We're gonna go and have a look at the other matchup just for a start, because we didn't play through this one. Which was not against 61 against Tutankhamun again. So okay, so we get this variation of Sicilian, very common, not against 61. Knows his stuff, to be fair. Loses a pawn here, but actually wins it back. And the problem is here, like, okay, there's a pin on the bishop to the king with these castles. After knight here, you can just tell already, look at black's activity. The 2 bishops just pointing down and covering the entire board. Bishop pair on an open board. There's no pawns in the center of the board whatsoever, which is what we call an open board. And so the bishop pair just are so good, whereas white's only got 1 bishop and you've got a knight for it. It can't do as much. Like already, he's got development problems because the knight doesn't want to move, because the bishop would take the knight and then ruin the pawn structure over on the king side. So therefore, if this knight can't move, then he has to get his bishop out this way. And yeah, it's just extra time to actually do this. And okay, what? So bishop b4 is played, he played bishop b2 and then he just won a piece? What? Oh, that was just a bit of a blunder then by not against 61. So here, but it all came because of that, because of the opening. Yeah, the opening was just not good enough. And okay, he's pieced down against Tutankhamun. He thought, I'll try my luck in another game. I always like to see them taking their time, though, maybe, and trying a bit more. But let's go back to the main event. Yeah, so we'll see why those aren't coming through. But okay, so we've got Lightbringer against Bulanov, Scandinavian this time. Get your queen out nice and earlier. LPJ. Yeah, so your game at 8 o'clock is a default win for you, LPJ, because you've the Rex and Robbins defaulted. So okay, Scandinavian here by Bulanov, and maybe this is an opening that he's going to bring out at some point over the board. Who knows? I don't know. Okay, so it's just a lot of simple development. Just a nice little pin on this knight to the queen, taken advantage of by this knight. It doesn't win anything, but it might just ruin some pawn structure here. And Lightbringer's thinking about it. He's down to under 3 minutes, which is good. Thinking about his clock. The knight's attacking the bishop, but it's defended by the pawn. Could ruin it there, but actually here we could be ruining some pawn structure because he can't defend that knight again. What should he have played here? H3, bishop back. It's a bit difficult to suggest anything at the moment because knight e5 is coming whatever he does. It's really difficult to say. Like maybe he has to do something like queen e2, just because if knight mind you, queen e2 has got knight d4, the knight comes to a different square, it attacks the queen and the knight at the same time. So actually already even here, it was kind of that moment where Lightbringer was already in a little bit of trouble. I actually think though as well that he's not played the most aggressive line here against the Scandinavian. Like knight f3 is not a bad move, but here I'd be asking the question of the bishop straight away. What are you doing? Are you taking my knight, or are you going backwards? And if he goes backwards, I go, well, maybe I want to go again. You know, and there is this kind of idea that you can sometimes do this against the Scandinavian. It might be quite a nice thing to put pressure on, but the problem is when you're a little bit newer to the game, you don't really want to do stuff like this because you quite often castle kingside. And if you do that, then your king would be really exposed. So knowing when to do that and when not to do it is a really tricky thing to get your head around. But if we let's refresh to see what actually happened. Okay, we pulled through the second game of Ethan RJ and John 313, which is good. So as we saw there, so knight e5, the bishop went back, pawns got ruined, and okay, we're in this position at the moment with Lightbringer in the tank, wondering what to do next, trying not to lose. Although it would be nice, guys, if your games did finish, all 4 games finished before 9 o'clock, because obviously Bulanov's got another game at 9 to play against the Welsh Tiger, and we don't want to keep the Tiger waiting. And we don't want to keep our fans waiting for that match as well, because that is going to be the match of this group now. To see who goes through to those top 4 spots. Okay, so Lightbringer putting his knight to the centre of the board. I really like this move. And you know what? There's I don't know. He's got a little bit of something here, Lightbringer has. If I was Bulanov, I'd be a little bit worried. And you'll see Bulanov's name up here as Major Coast. That's just his chess.com nickname. And he just decides to bring his queen back. And he's not winning yet. And I think that's what Lightbringer's going to be wanting. You know, he's a massive underdog in this. What's the rating difference? Oh, it's huge. So it's like 1,500 rating points. But you know what? You play sensible chess, you get your pieces out, you get your king castled, and you just try not to make a mistake, giving away 3 pieces. I think the problem for Lightbringer, though, is that he's coming down to being under 1:20 on the clock. And I can't see him moving quickly and not blundering something. As much as I want it to happen, I would love it to happen if Lightbringer was able to get something. Okay, thank you, Chess Arbitress. 5 minutes timeout for pasting the live game link. I don't know what that means. Okay, and this is interesting though, right? What Lightbringer's done here. So he's got double pawns, and this pawn's isolated on h3, which is obviously a terrible kind of thing. But the advantage of double pawns is you have more open lines for your rooks. And so this rook's come to the g file, and you'll see Bulanov straight away swapping queens off, winning a pawn. Swapping queens off means that the attack on the g pawn would not be as dangerous. You weren't able to chat here, right? Okay, I see. And actually, he's picked up this pawn on f3, which is all he wants. And look, just look here, rook e1's played, and really what I would have been wanting to see there. Oh, I don't think he can do it. I would have been loving it if he was able to get away with rook d7 here, attacking the bishop and the pawn. But I think bishop d6 check. And the rook's actually potentially trapped there, and that would have been actually devastating because he has to either block with a bishop, which just gets taken, or he blocks with a rook, and that also gets taken. So this could be pretty dangerous anyway. And bishop d6 was played regardless. And now Bulanov moving in for the kill, doesn't just want a bishop for a rook, he wants to play pawn to h4 and win the rook for free, but Lightbringer's having none of that. He's still fighting, but he's slowly but surely being behind, down to a minute on his clock, and yeah, it's not looking good for him here. But we'll see the finish of the game. We've got the other match in this group is Ethan RJ against John 313. Again, Ethan RJ is another heavy rating favourite, and I think he's 3-0 up there already. We have the other match in Group A going on, which was Not Again 61 against Tutankhamun. So we'll check back in there after this game to see how that's going. They should be on. Tutankhamun was 2-0 up there at that point. So we'll see what happens. And you see here already, Bulanov just winning the game simply, swapping off all the rooks that White's got left, or the last remaining rook. Swap off, if you're ahead, swap off pieces, and it just makes things so much simpler. Less tactics on the board. He's comfortable that he can win an endgame. I think this bishop's looking a little short of squares here as well. Fair to Lightbringer. He's seen the danger. The c4 pawn coming forward by Black would have trapped his bishop in. So he's seen the danger coming, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough to keep him alive in this game. And Bulanov's just going to slowly but surely just pick up a pawn here and there, and then it's just going to become overwhelming. And also look at the clock as well. 25 seconds left for Lightbringer. And Bulanov again swapping off pieces. He's relentless. I tell you what, he's like this in over the board chess as well. He just loves to swap pieces off. He's like, give me an endgame. Just like trying to suck the life of it out. Okay, so all 4 games for that have happened, have they? Okay, good. Thank you, Chess Arbitress. We'll work out why afterwards as to why that didn't pull through properly. And if we just fix that, then we could be good for everything. I guess it's what we do if we get a default then, isn't it, as well? We'd have to manually do some stuff. And I think I know what Bulanov's cooking up here. I think I know. Yeah, he's just playing it slowly. Let me see, in case anybody else is messaging me to tell me they're having a problem. Nope, we're all good. Everybody's good, and we're just waiting for Bulanov to win this game. I do not expect anything else to happen. Okay, we're all good. And the problem is that there's just too many pawns coming down now. And I expect it's nice of Lightbringer to fight on, but not much else is going to happen, I'm afraid. Although it could get a little tricky if he's not careful. There we go. Lightbringer gives up the first one. As expected, he can't advance the pawn because the bishop's in the way. But to be honest, all he needs to do is move the rook across on the pawn, charge the pawn down, and just give the rook up for the pawn at the right moment, and you get the queen, and that's game over. But there's obviously different ways to win that one. But as expected, going for the rating favourite there. We've also had, so this is going to have 3 more games going now. I'm guessing they're rematching now. That might not be pulling through, so maybe we'll have to see if we can pull that through too. But we've got Ethan RJ has won 4-0 against John 313. We can have a look at their games, but okay, that didn't pull through either. You can see the moves are there, but when you click on it, you can't see any moves for some reason. As well, we click on this one again. So we're pulling through, but maybe not the full PGNs at the moment, so we'll have a look at those when we can. The ones that were coming through was that, okay, so we've got a result then. So Tutankhamun was 2-0 up. He's now 3-0 up. Pit Ponies have beaten the Wolfhounds. Not Again 61 going down there. This was the third game. This looks good. So, okay, I mean, what is Not Again 61 doing here? You take back with the pawn here, you take back with the queen, you're just asking for it, and maybe it might be your opening, but I think he did this in game 1 where he took back with a piece on d5, and it's just asking for trouble. And now this massive centre that Tutankhamun has got is, especially with castle and queen side, you're castling on the opposite side of your opponent, and what's going to happen here is black should be trying to launch an attack down this side of the board, and white's going to launch an attack here, but you look at the two sides, white's already got a rook, knight, supporting this pawn coming to b5, opening up the black king here on the queen side. But actually, black's attack's not even started. And the reason for that is because white had control of the centre. White had the piece activity out the opening and therefore was able to do what he wanted. So actually, it was a big mistake of Not Again not to castle the same side. He would have lasted longer had he gone this way. This was a huge mistake, in fact. I mean, you see here already b4 threatening to play b5. a6 actually doesn't help the situation. This is a defensive move. One of the things that we do say is that if somebody's charging pawns down at you, sometimes the best thing to do is do nothing and actually just get your own attack going. So, for example, h5, h4, this is the kind of stuff that you would have had to try, but it would have been very difficult to do. And we see here already rook c1 threatened, skewering the queen and the king all the way up the c line. It probably would have been able to sack a knight or bishop on this square, but you don't want to be giving up pieces. And actually, was that game over there? Is that one already? He resigned at this point because he can't take the knight. The queen. I mean, look at these pawns. The pawns cover all of these squares, right? The pawns cover here. The pawns cover all this way. The knight covers this square, and the rook covers this line. The queen covers this line. The bishop attacks the queen. So the only square the queen could go back to, it can't come anywhere across here because of that central pawns. It has to go back to c7 and then just simply rook c1. And he's got to put a piece on c5 to save his queen from the rook, which is obviously not what you want to do. So that's why he's given up there at that point. Not long gone. This match has gone very quick. So 3-0 up, Tutankhamun is here. But Not Again 61 is leading this one. He's a rook for a bishop up, hoping not to get whitewashed 4-0. He's 3-0 down, under 20 seconds on the clock for Not Again 61. He's got a passed a pawn. This could be the game that gets him back into it. I really like to see this. He's such a fighter. Really does a good job of fighting for his team in every single game. And he's rook for bishop. This is the one that he wants. You know, he was kind of half expected to lose this 4-0, but you know what? He's proven time and time again that he's a really wily player. I hope he doesn't lose on time. It's a 3-second increment. He's down to 4 seconds. This could be it. He's taking loads of stuff, but it's so easy to make a mistake here. And I think there's definitely a perpetual check at least. Oh no, it's not just a perpetual, it also wins a rook if he wants it. Oh no! Just gone wrong with 5 seconds left. Not Again 61 had Tutankhamun where he wanted him, apart from on the clock. And Tutankhamun takes it down for the 4-0. I tell you what, you were lucky there, Tutankhamun. Very, very lucky. Not Again 61. He played an absolute blinder against you there. So how did this work? He actually played a sensible opening, which is good to see. It was a Sicilian. Okay, f4 is a nice move. Typical pawn break. Supported by the rook and the bishop, although it does bring you into a reason as to why play b3 if you're going to play f4. And okay, the bishop does go that way. How did he actually get the advantage here then? What actually happened? So black won the pawn, so Tutankhamun would have been happy with that part. This knight, you get knight to f5, they're so dangerous. And he goes here, drops back. Okay, well, nothing's being won there. Okay, so he would have wanted... Yeah, you take like the queen there's fine. Okay, so what actually happened here then? Oh, what? Oh, it's just a simple attack here. So rook e8 was a mistake. And the rook, the knight and queen are all lining up with each other. So when he moves the knight to d6, he attacks the rook, but he also attacks the queen at the same time. We have just a very simple double attack. But actually, that's how Not Again 61. And that here he had 2 minutes left here. not against 61. 2 in Carmoon, you lucky thing, having to use all the skills and tricks of the trade. The problem is the White King is a bit exposed, which makes it difficult for him to just convert this rook for a bishop up. And okay, he's got all the pawns in the world, but okay, in the end, just couldn't do it, cutting down to a few seconds on the clock. Really good win for Pit Ponies, who look like they might actually go ahead in the group then now. So the Pit Ponies, 3 wins, and actually that could be... No, who did the Pit Ponies play later? Let's just have a look. Pit Ponies at 9 o'clock. Okay, they're against the Pirates as well. Okay, so they've got to play the Pirates still, but they definitely look like they're going ahead. 3 wins, and actually nobody can catch them at the moment, or overtake them, shall we say. So it looks like either the Wizards or the Wolfhounds will probably join them in the first 2 spots there. But okay, let's flick around and see what other games are going on, because we've got Group B going on, haven't we? Which is interesting. So Ethan RJ did get the 4-0 win. Okay, so not Lightbringer and Bolanov are definitely playing another game here. They've got 3 more games to go. They must be on game 2, maybe even game 3 at this point. Just wondering, Slayer John, if you're in Discord, the question is, do they need to log into the Welsh Esports League and update the results themselves? I would log in and updates. I would log in and update your results if you've still got them going on. But if not, then just no big deal. We will update them afterwards. But try and do the best that you can for us. Anything that where we don't have to do something would be really, really helpful for us, because a lot of things going on at the moment. Obviously, we're trying out this chess.com thing, and it's really good to have all of the games in one spot. So, for example, here, these games are being pulled through. It didn't quite pull through perfectly, but it's just a few little things that we're just working on. And when we get those, we're going to be good. So I actually need a live game now. So I'm actually probably going to have to switch over to looking at it differently. But let's just have a quick look at the results actually of Group B. So you see here that you've got, so Sea Dragons of Bulanov is currently playing against Lightbringer, so he's going to go on to 3 wins out of 3. But he's got the Welsh Tiger up next, and that should, I want to say 20 minutes until he plays the Welsh Tiger, but it could be a little longer. Depends on how much of an effort that Lightbringer of the Goats is kind of putting Bulanov through the ringer right now, trying to say, I'm not going to lose to you quickly. I'm going to lose to you slowly. So let's just have a look at Lightbringer. Bring up these games. So he's only played 1 game against him so far. So let's have a little watch of this then, as we're clicking on the games. These games will be pulled through afterwards. And whoa, Lightbringer doing yourself a great job here, getting to a rook and pawn ending. Sure, you're 2 pawns down, and should go on to lose, but actually you've got chances. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Lightbringer trying to put Bulanov through there, make it hard for him, and this is a theoretical win for White, and you should expect somebody of a master level to actually convert this, but I've seen it go wrong. In fact, I've seen Super Grandmasters actually do this wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Vidit who got this wrong from India in either a Blitz or a Rapid Play tournament. We actually stalemated the Black King, so we'll see if Bulanov can see what his technique's like here. And to be honest, I can't actually think of anything else nicer for the fans to watch than a rook and pawn ending. I mean, it's definitely the most fun types of endgames that you can actually have to actually go through. And this match did start a little bit late. Somebody was just travelling between some areas, so we will accommodate where possible. But I'm just hoping it doesn't go too much past 9 o'clock. So we'll see. But I better just make sure that the player that could be waiting does not isn't too surprised by that. It's Ethan RJ as well. Okay, well, he's in the chat too, so that's okay. Okay, G6 is interesting. I probably would have put my rook out to the side. So now that king's cut off, but Lightbringer's probably not going to put up too much resistance. Yeah, get that king on the back rank. As soon as the king starts to be on the back rank here, it's going to be... Oh, that's it. What? He missed checkmate in one. He's just missed checkmate in one. What is Bolanov doing? I was just about to say, as soon as the king's on the back rank, you've got checkmating possibilities. He had checkmate in one move. Rook F8, checkmate. And he's missed it. He's gone G7. Still wins, of course. But why do this? Give your opponent a chance here. I think this is still winning easily, but why not checkmates? Making sure that they know. I'm contacting people via Discord, WhatsApp, and also email as well. People too, which is good to see. Yeah, I'm actually scared for white here on how to win, but it is winning, isn't it? It's not. But I was scared for him. Obviously now he's won, but oh, come on, Lightbringer. We got places to be. Okay, mate in two now. There we go. I tell you what, missing. Please make this interesting, Rook F8. Even a bit of trolling here at the end, by the way. How he promoted to a rook there rather than the queen. So let's see. Lightbringer was pushing Bulanov there a little bit. Let's see if Lightbringer can do anything. Is he going to play the Scandinavian again? Now, I do wonder if, this Scandinavian, is this going to be Bulanov's kind of online opening that he plays? Because he plays the Caro can over the board. He loves his Caro. He'll have nobody say anything bad against it. Otherwise, they get lynched. Just like me and the French, right? I play the French all the time and love my opening. But maybe I should be a little bit more... have another alternative opening. At least it's not a Caro. No interest there. The Caro is getting bashed already, as you'd expect. To be honest, the Caro. When you're a kid, everybody used to say it's not the Caro can, it's the Caro can't, which is really boring joke. But it's a fantastic little line to use on your Caro players if you want that one for free. And do you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with Lightbringer's opening here. 3 minor pieces out in the open, king castle, pawn in the centre of the board. Do you know what? Happy days there. Happy days. And now Bulanov's just trying to ask that question. He's 2-0 up. So he needs just half a point to get the victory, but I'm pretty sure he's going for 4-0 because he needs the game points, especially with Ethan. So he beat Ethan RJ of the Artists last week, 2.5, 1.5, very close game. But Ethan RJ came fighting back today, took down the Welsh Tiger, 3.5 half. So it's if Bulanov loses to the Welsh Tiger, it's going to be a 3-way split, and game points are going to come into it to decide who wins. So, what does that mean then? I mean, I think does it mean that Ethan RJ is through? It might mean that if Ethan RJ obviously wins against Lightbringer, for example, he's just beaten John 313. If he wins against Lightbringer later, I think Ethan RJ must be through because he's beaten the Welsh Tiger. The Welsh Tiger would have to beat Bulanov. He'd have to beat Bulanov mean, if he only beats him 2.5, 1.5, it would have to go on individual matchups then, so make him go through. If he beats him, yeah, actually, it is a shootout, I think. We'll have to have a look at the points after this match as the updates. Was bishop takes d4 not a move? When are we talking? Back here. Here. Bishop takes d4. It does look like a move, doesn't it? Yeah, that definitely looks like a good move. Decode. I was on autopilot as well. I think Bulanov's on autopilot here. That does look like a free pawn to me. Is rook e4 maybe? Something that he didn't like? Although you've got maybe bishop takes knight f3 here. So the point is here is that you obviously attack two things at once. But bishop takes knight f3 here attacks the queen. So if they take the queen, we take their queen, and then they can take the bishop back, and we're a pawn up. Or are we? Oh, yeah, we are, because we can take on c2. So that would have been what I was thinking now. I was just a little worried for Black's pieces here, because I thought maybe bishop h5 had to be played, in which case g4 traps it in, although it's not clear that the rook doesn't get attacked. But bishop takes c2 is just too much, although not many pieces developed. So rook e4, bishop takes knight, and then you can do, like, the problem is you can't do knight takes bishop here, because just queen takes rook was no good. If queen takes bishop, I mean, the same thing. I mean, you could do queen takes knight, but at least you've got queen takes queen, so that's no good. You have to do pawn takes bishop, and the rook is still attacking two pieces at once, but I'm guessing here we can just go queen f6, and the bishop's defended and saved. So yeah, bishop takes d4. Bulanov maybe just a bit on autopilot in this game, and it's quite dangerous to be like that when you're playing against somebody who's lower rated. And d5 is obviously good, so he's lost the b2 pawn, but I don't think he's bothered about that. He's really pushing Bulanov around here. Do not want to trade queens, though. You do not want to trade queens. You're a pawn down, and you've got the activity. You've got a pawn in the center, push even further forward. Your bishop's not brilliant behind it, but you've got to open it up. Here you've got to be playing more aggressively, but swapping queens off is not what you want to do against Bulanov. He loves the long games. He just wants to grind this out now, and you see this knight being developed. The white's pieces just seem to be a little bit not well placed anymore. I mean, I've already mentioned this bishop not being very good, just defending the pawn. So he's not going to just take it off the boards. He's not going to take it. The rook and knight, again, I mean, they're on dark squares, aren't they? Well, bishop h6 was just played, so straight away, asking the question of them, what are you going to do? There is a check on g3 if he wants it, but he goes back to e2 to defend the knight, and then he takes that off, and goes, I will beat you in a rook endgame. And this is risky from Bulanov. Rook endgames are tough. Let me just refresh the game. Actually, maybe I should just check actually on the events to see if it's pulling through anymore. So if you want to search for Welsh Esports League Season 10 chess, and then you can click here on games, and we can see what's going on. So that was the Group A. You can click to Group B. Okay, so the games we're having the games pull through in a way with the results. I wonder if this game's pulled through the whole thing. It has pulled through the whole thing, which is good to see. So the games are being pulled through, but just having a little issue there. So they're being added on later on. So let me just switch routes. It's not Lightbringer, isn't it? People having different usernames to different nicknames. Oh, it causes me such an issue. So yeah, okay. Where are we at? Where are we at right now? Okay, so he's managed to get to this point. You know what, Lightbringer of the Goats? You have done the Goats proud to get here. You're playing against the title player, 2-0 up on you. It's King Rook and 4 against King Rook and 3. Do you know what? This is hard to win for Black. I fully expect Bulanov to win this game, and go. But you know what? If Lightbringer takes half a point off him, that could be the half a point that means Bulanov doesn't make it through to the top two elimination spots, and he has to go down to third place and go for 3 and 4. I fully expect him to win. H5 is a risky decision, a very risky decision. That could be a second pawn gone. the king can come over now and just mop up that pawn, I think. Yeah, but the problem is grinding endgames is what happens when they go wrong. All right, grinding endgames, fair enough, it's a good strategy sometimes, but you have to be able to win games in, shall we say, regular, or just outplaying somebody with lots of pieces on the board. Now, he's playing against Lightbringer, who's rated under 1,000. He's going to have the better tactics. Obviously, we just looked at the position before with bishop takes d4 being a free pawn. That could have been the start of the end of this game. And instead, he's expending energy, playing out these grinding endgames, and that might be a good tactic, but he's got to play the Welsh Tiger next. He needs all the rest he can get. The match has already started late, which he agreed to. And I know that he gets on with Lightbringer, but I'd be looking to finish these games off as quick as possible, give me less to talk about, and also give himself some more rest. He's got the Welsh Tiger up at 9 o'clock, so this is the game 3. You expect this game to probably finish in the next couple of minutes. Then he's got to play game 4. So I can imagine that Welsh Tigers, that game against Bulanov is going to go past 9 o'clock, and it's going to start probably a little bit late, which is not good for my bedtime. Do you know what? I agree. It's not. I agree. RJ Chess. Who is this CM fraud? I agree. Completely agree with it. What is he playing at here? Get the job done. But it won't affect your match, though, RJ Chess. So you're still going to be playing at 9 o'clock anyway. You're lucky that I'm able to copy and paste the matches now, so I probably can stay on stream following the games and just continue it. But I might have to top up my water at some point. Oh, who doesn't love a king and pawn ending of a rooks? Oh, sorry, RJ Chess, my mistake. Apologies. At least Lightbringer is going to be tired. I guess that's after just playing the match, trying to hold Bulanov. Good luck with your exams, by the way. Although, what was it, January? Is it like half? It's not the full final one, is it? Although I actually don't know how they do it now. It's been like 20 years since I was at uni. Actually, a few years less than that, but... Come on, Bulanov. Nobody... there's no kind of entertainment like a rook and pawn ending, is there? does Major Coast Bulanov? No. Okay, RJ Chess, I see. Everybody loves a rook and pawn ending. Okay, and there we go. Now it's time to resign. The pawn's queening, you can't stop it. Let's get game 4 on the go, come on. It's over. Oh, he's playing on. Oh. He missed mate in 2 there. No, it's still mate in 2. Yes, good luck with the exams, Ivan. I know obviously it's very serious. For you, and I do wish you the best. And they are obviously very important long term. Don't think so. No flagging going on there. And game 4 is about to start. So actually, I'm just going to take a quick couple of minutes break for 5 minutes from the stream. I'm going to get myself some more water. And when we come back, I'll recap what's happening in game 4 of this. And also I need to start the games that are actually starting at 9 o'clock, which by the sounds of it is only going to be 1 o'clock, one match, which will probably be... so it won't be Bulanov, it won't be Lightbringer. It'll be Tuan Carmoon against LJP 2306. Let me make sure I've got that name right. So yeah, if I can go to a quick break now, that would be really good. And then we can get started in the future. Excellent. Welcome back, everybody, to round 5 of the Welsh Esports League group stages. It is proving to be a very close affair, especially in one of the groups. We've had, I can't even count how many games played already so far, but last week we had rounds 1 and 2. This week we had rounds 3, 4 and 5. So it's been an absolute, for some players, they've had to play 4 games of chess times 3 online, 12 games of blitz chess, all in a row. It can be very tiring. So maybe a little bit of fatigue might crop in, but it's proven to be really, really close. But we're just going to have a quick look at the group standings to see which both sections are in before, because next week, this time next week, we'll have the semi-finals. Actually be a little bit earlier because that'll start at 7 o'clock UK time. And then the week after that, we will have the finals to see who's going to earn the most points for the Welsh esports teams. But after we have a look onto the group stages, Group A is very close, but it's looking like the Pit Ponies are going through on one of the top 2 spots. They've got 2 players playing for them, Marine, but tonight is Tutankhamun's time to shine, picking up lots of wins. 3 from 3 at the moment, which is looking really good for them. Wizards and Wolfhounds are in the hunt as well. Not Again and Decode really doing well there. And the Pirates and the Robins. The Robins unfortunately couldn't make today, so they look like they're going to be eliminated from today's session. And it looks like the other 4 will go through to the playoff spots. Group B, though, this is where the action's happening. We've got I call this the group of death. I feel sorry for the Goats and Tribal Esports because they are up against 3 master level players who are fighting it out for those top 2 spots, but only 2. 3 doesn't go into 2, I'm afraid. Only 2 can go through. In the bottom place match, the Goats, Lightbringer, did beat John 313 of Tribal Esports, so he looking like he's going to go through to the playoff spots for those 3rd and 4th spots next week. But really, it's about Sea Dragons, Bullenov, Dragons RFC, Welsh Tiger, and also Ethan RJ of the Artists. Which one of these will go through? If you're looking at the group now, you can see that the Bullenov is he's played 3 games, he's won 3 games. He has done his job. You look at Welsh Tiger of Dragons RFC, he's played 3, but he has lost 1. He lost to Bullenov, who's currently in 1st place. No, he lost to Ethan RJ, who's currently in 3rd place of the Artists. But Ethan RJ of the Artists lost to Bullenov last week, which means that we've got a match now happening between Bullenov and Welsh Tiger, which could decide which of those 3 actually does make it through to these top 2 spots. I think if I'm looking at it correctly here, we can see that we've got the for and against, because if Bullenov beats the Welsh Tiger, it's pretty obvious that Bullenov's through. He's won all of his matches. He can't actually go any further. So actually, it's a case that we need to look at this match to see what happens. If Welsh Tiger wins, though, it would mean that we'd have a Welsh Tiger beating Bullenov, Bullenov beating Ethan RJ beating Welsh Tiger. It could go down to game points, which would be really, really close. Let's have a look at the action, see what's going on. So I'm just going to refresh my page a little bit just to see what some of the games are happening. So we've only got 1 match happening in Group B at the moment. Is that correct? So Ethan RJ and Not Lightbringer. Oh, no, we've got 2 matches. Sorry, it's just a bit further down. That's why, because I've not clicked on it. So here we have it. So we've got Not Lightbringer of the Goats playing against Ethan RJ. Ethan RJ is the heavy rating favourite there. So we're going to probably not look at that one too closely. The one we're really interested in is Bullenov, who is Major Coast here, playing against the Welsh Tiger. So we're going to click on that one in a second. I just want to have a look at Group A just very quickly, just to make sure some of the games have started. I think, unfortunately, we've got Tutankhamun has got a default win against LPJ 2306. And it looks like Not Again 61 against Decode has also just finished their first game. Maybe they'll play a second or not, we'll have to see. Let's switch back to Group B, because this really is the one that we really want to see. Bullenov playing white here of the Sea Dragons against Welsh Tiger of Dragons RFC. That's actually partnered with the Dragons Rugby Club. Anywhere we can get chess into, we definitely will do. And just while we're there, massive thanks to the Welsh Esports League as well for helping us put this on. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and we look forward to working alongside them a lot more in doing things. But okay, what actually was this opening? Okay, what is he doing here? So this might even be, we've got, by the way, to the levels, where these players are actually preparing for each other for these online matches. So they're not just turning up randomly and going, oh, who am I playing tonight? And then going on it. These players, they're like looking at all of their opponents' online games. They're saying, what are they weak against? What are they strong against? And then actually, what opening should I play against them? And actually really figuring it out. So, okay, so this is interesting because here we've seen that Bulanov most of the time would play a London system. He's kind of famous for it in Welsh circles. But here he's playing, at the moment, a Queen's Gambit, but it could transpose to a Catalan. And here the Welsh Tiger, he has been playing the accepted variation quite a lot, so pretty common. This pawn gets taken, and he does fianchetto the bishop over here, so he kind of transposed to a bit of a weird Catalan, actually. But maybe Black's actually got a tempo extra, because I'm pretty sure that Black's not, we normally have A6 and A4 included at this point. So it's a little bit of an unusual one. But okay, yeah, E3 is a little bit of a concession. Usually what you want to do as white here is you want to be able to play the move pawn to E4. That was the whole point of allowing this pawn earlier on of Black's to take yours, because it takes away a Black central pawn. So to really take advantage of that, you really want to put a pawn here. Obviously, you can't do that now. There's a knight and a bishop looking at that square saying no chance. So what you have to do is you have to bring the knight in, you have to bring the rook across, maybe even the queen can even help out, try and push this pawn to E4, get those pawns in the center. So E3 is a bit of a surprise for me. Been looking at a few lines myself recently, and maybe bishop G5, bishop takes knight is also another way of trying to remove an attacker of this square to try and help you play this move pawn to E4. But okay, let's see what happens. The queen gets attacked and comes back. It's really safe on this E2 square, which is nice to see. A5 is very aggressive from the Tiger. And okay, E4 finally happens. You see that the queen's supporting it and the knight's supporting it. He didn't need to do anything else. But okay, and now already threatening to take and then take here. So we get, rather than defend it, we get an aggressive way of trying to stop this pawn being taken. He's also threatening to play E5, picking up the knight because it's pinned to the queen. And finally, we get that exchange that I said could happen. Now this bishop just looks a little awkward here, right? It looks a little bit of a dodgy, bit of a dodgy piece. If he takes that, he doubles the pawns. Knockout games, by the way, are over 8. Although we'll maybe decide, or first to 4.5. Because yeah, there's no point, I guess, playing after. If you get to 4.5 points, then you basically won, haven't you? So we'll maybe discuss that in the week. So what does he do about this? The bishop goes back to E8. Many new players would not disconnect their rooks like this. This would be obviously something that you don't want to necessarily do in the game, but the bishops, I'd rather do that than actually allow my pawn structure to be ruined with knight takes bishop and pawn takes in that particular case. So there's a bit of aggression here from Bulanov, forcing Black to make some mistakes, but okay, he's missed that this pawn on D4 was hanging, and this queen has come in. This queen was coming in, and actually, okay, takes, and we get to this position. Welsh Tiger is a pawn up, but his pieces are very cramped, aren't they? I'm just going to refresh it. All right, so we're playing the game moves live, which is great. So he picks the pawn back up. Black's getting his pieces active, but just a few exchanges that are going to happen. So this game is right in the balance. Okay, so apparently somebody's having connection issues somewhere else as well, which can happen. It's very famous, I think, in one of the... I don't know if it was the final of the Olympiad or final of some other big online event, around that COVID time, where I think it was India versus maybe Russia, or was it India versus China or something like that? But I know that the Indian internet basically went right in the final matchup, and it was like, you could technically default the entire Indian team, and actually the president of FIDE stepped in and said, do you know what, this is just an issue that nobody could have potentially foreseen. It feels very unfair to have them lose based on their internet going. So they actually declared it, both of them are joint champions, which I think was really nice for them to do. But we are going to see a matchup here. So Bulanov down to 1 minute 7. Welsh Tiger just getting close to 1 minute 20. And pretty much a completely equal game. Nothing really to pull apart from these two players. I'd probably say that maybe the Tigers' pieces are just a little bit more active. He's got a little pull on this, but it's not much at all. Not much to go in these games. These two top players duking it out, and yeah, anything can happen here. Absolutely anything, especially with the time ticking down. But my current assessment is that it's likely to be a draw, but it depends on these next few moves. This is where we start to see the quick play chess. This is why we're in as an esport, because who can move faster, who can play more precise, who can make sure that they don't do anything. You know, Queen E3 is not the type of move I'd have been playing there. Kind of signals that you want to trade the queens off, go into a rook endgame. We know how Bulanov loves his rook endgames. But Welsh Tiger says, I'm keeping the queens on and I'm going to try and checkmate you. It's just causing him some issues. Bulanov's down to under 30 seconds. This could be crucial. Could be absolutely crucial, this could. Oh, look at that. Bulanov just made a misstep, and now F4's played. And this is a move that Bulanov did not want to have to play, because it really opens up his king on the side. And you see how the Tiger's rook has, kind of invaded. And that white king is going to get checked, but is it enough to win? Is it enough to win the game? Ooh. Is it enough to win the game? Oh wow, we have got two players. Oh, that's it. Game over. Oh, he's still playing on for a couple of moves. We won't look at the rest of this. This was a really nice idea. So here the problem is that this king is just going to get checkmated. There's loads of checkmates, like queen here check is good. But probably best is queen here check, because after queen h3 check, the king comes this way. So he's thinking that maybe h5 check is the one to play. But the king's actually really safe on g5. So actually the problem is actually queen d1 check. This is the problem. So I don't actually know how he should be defending against that. I mean, maybe he can't go queen f3, because like in the game, h5 check happened, moving the king away, and he's just able to take the queen. But this all went wrong a little bit earlier than this. This is kind of like the moment here. Rook d8 was played, and black's already slightly better. You see that the queen and the rook are actually a bit more active than white's. Rook d1, there's an invasion on d2 that's coming. This rook's tied to defending the c1 square. The queen's tied to defending d1. And there's also just a little pull on this. Queen e3 was just a little defensive, or a little bit too trying to swap off too much. I think actually I probably would have played rook e3. Not that I would have liked playing rook e3. I don't want to do this move. But it just means that the queen is cut off. We overprotect e5. And I've got a bit more freedom now with my queen. My queen can go off dancing. I'll put the king on g2. Might even play h4, by the way, just to move his queen. But this would have been maybe a better way to go about it. But you just see just down here, bishop b5 happened. Again, bishop e2, trying to swap pieces off too much. Was there maybe a rook? Oh no, rook c1 would have been terrible. This would have been a terrible move, because queen c1 check, king g2, and then queen here would have been checkmate. That would have been absolutely devastating. So he couldn't even do that. But if he can't stop rook d8 next, then what does he do? Maybe the position's already really bad. And I just didn't appreciate just how bad it actually was. Maybe he has to do something along the lines of h4, just nudge the queen in, and when the queen comes in, it attacks here. Oh, it's just still bad though. You can't even defend that pawn. Maybe there's another idea. Maybe we could play a4. Maybe a4 would have been a good idea, just to do something. It's difficult, isn't it? Very, very difficult. Maybe b4 would have been an idea. But it is a really difficult position for white. So it's just like here, e5, just the wrong direction. Here, you look at the fight for the d file, and the black rook is 2 squares away from it. So we could have started to attack the weaknesses. b6 is weak. Anything on b3 starts to attack it. You could have claimed the d file here straight away. There was no need to get into this e5 move then. looks like it was the start, and Black's pieces just came to life. And yeah, really nice finish from the Tiger, who takes a much-needed victory in the first game. And that's that 1-0 to the Tiger at the moment. Second game's not pulled through yet. I'm sure they're playing. Ethan RJ is making inroads. We'll go flip back to that in a second. Ethan RJ has got an exam tomorrow, and he's like, come on, let's start it off. So he finishes off this first game against Lightbringer. Let's see how he just won his first kind of thing. To went back, and I'm pretty sure he's playing like super quick here. Right, Lightbringer actually with the checkmate threat against the candidate master. He must have been proud of that one. He gave himself a chance, right? He gave himself a chance, and actually he's played quite well here. Lightbringer has. He's got a chance. He's a pawn down, now 2 pawns, and so he really made even work for this one. To be fair, and unfortunately though, it's not going to be enough at this stage. And Ethan calmly and quietly and slowly but surely is able to convert his extra pawns to the end. This one, Ethan won again. Okay, that's not pulled through yet completely, but I guess we can have a look at this one live and see what's happening here. So Lightbringer of the Goats against Ethan of the Artists. And actually, again, Lightbringer's pieces are active. He's a pawn down. He's got active pieces, and it gives him a chance to try and get something from the game. Massively outrated. Yeah, Ethan's got an exam tomorrow, so he's like, "Come on, let's get going." So he's won 2. He wants to finish these 2 games and then get on with revision, I should imagine. And Lightbringer's like, "Do you know what? I'm going to make this as hard as possible for you." And I guess that's kind of like his job, right? He's kind of meant to be doing that. So. It was just the wrong time to take on f6 now. While it does win the d5 pawn, you could have made it a bit harder for him earlier on if you'd have taken. So back here, when the queen was under attack from the rook, you're a pawn down here as white. If you actually just do bishop takes knight now, this just probably gives you an extra chance, because now after queen takes bishop, you've got queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, and white's a pawn down, but after like something like c3, play rook d1, maybe you double on the d pawn, rook f1, maybe you attack the double pawns here. These Black's extra pawn is not really looking very good here. This would have been the moment to really make him win that rook and pawn ending hard. And the point being here, by the way, that after bishop takes knight, if you do rook takes queen, we then do bishop takes queen. And okay, if you take the bishop back, then we take your rook down there. And if you move your rook, then we'll move our bishop away and we're a piece up, so you can't do that. So that would have been the moment to do it. And instead, though, he moved away, lost another pawn, won the d pawn back, but the problem is extra pawn here. Oh, this pawn probably going to get taken. And where are we live? We're rook af1 live here at the moment. Okay, queen h4 has been played. Let me just click off it and then click back on, so we can see the live moves. Ethan's only 2 pawns up now, but he just really wants to finish this game off. He's just like, come on, just make it easy for me. And what you must not do, especially if you're the low-rated player, do not make it easy for high-rated players when you play against them. I find it so often. People just crumble under stress. Okay, how can he even? Because he wants to get on to game 4. How can he actually finish this game off quickly? He's a little tied down to this pawn on f7 here. The queen and rook. Just looking at the pawn f7. So this rook can't get involved. So he's got to do it with the other pieces. Does he march his a pawn down the board? Is this one way to do it? Does he try and get this rook over here somewhere? I don't even know what the rook does. You know, over here, it gets over here. I think maybe you just got to start exchanging pieces and just use your extra pawns in the endgame. Keep it simple. Let's have a look. What's going on? And we'll flip over to the other group after this game just to see what the results are. And we'll jump into a live game if we can do. Yeah, it has been a lot of chess. It's also been a lot of commentary as well, by the way, right? I mean, Just tell my wife, yeah, I'm going to be away from 6:45 till 10 o'clock, by the way, doing commentary. So like that. It's been a long one, and a busy couple of days. But I fully expect Ethan to win this game now. 2 pawns up, and yeah, Lightbringer's doing the right thing. If you've got a weakness in your opponent's camp and you just want to keep attacking it, he's giving him some problems to solve. And I'm pretty sure that Ethan would have been not wanting to really get below 4 minutes, to be honest, to beat Lightbringer. But Lightbringer, fair play to you of the goats. He's making him work, and that's all I want to see. How many rook endgames have we had in these past tonight? We've had loads, haven't we? And if you're a true chess player, by the way, rook endgames get a very bad rep, but they're actually pretty good. And if you're a true chess player, you must love rook and pawn endings. And here we could get a rook and pawn ending. And not a Lightbringer just avoiding a little trap there. Whether it's intentional or not, I don't know. G6 is an important move, just trying to make sure that you don't get checkmated on the back rank. So it frees up his pieces. There was a little trap here. Look at this little trap here. So here, rook b8. Kind of a nice idea that you could try rook takes f7. And the point being, if queen takes rook, then queen takes rook here, check. And you've just won a pawn. You're in a queen ending with only one extra pawn on the side. That's probably drawn. But if rook takes queen, then rook takes queen, and you're in a rook and pawn ending, which is also probably drawn. Although I'm sure people would try to win it. Black would definitely try to win it here. But the problem is, after rook takes f7, Black now inserts the move queen c5 check as an intermediate or intermezzo move, as we call in chess. And yeah, you're losing your queen here because whatever you do, we're going to do rook takes queen next go, and white can't take our queen because our queen's no longer on c7. So that would have been a little trap to fall into. But instead they did this, and okay, the rook's coming down now, and you see how this extra... Oh, white's won the pawn. That's a surprise. Hang on, what? Is Lightbringer going to take half a point off even here? Is he going to do Bullenov and Welsh Tiger a favour? How did that pawn go? What? Rook takes a5. Check. Maybe he thought he had checkmate, but he doesn't have checkmate because the rook can't come down because the queen's on it. And actually, this is... Whew, this is not... Well, I'm not even sure how much winning this actually is now anymore. This is... Oh, now it is. Tell you what, Ian, you were lucky there. Rook, so just has rook b2 here. Can the queen go anywhere else, by the way? Because he's got this idea of going check, and then check either here or here, and then taking the pawn. Can white do anything differently to actually prevent this, or was it just goodbye even? Yeah, so the problem is something like queen a1, check, king h1, and I can't see a way through. And the whole point is that queen f1 check's no longer possible, because the queen's covering it. So you can threaten the checkmate all day, no problem, but I'll just play queen g1. And do you know what? That would have been a draw. Queen a1. Is there anything else? Have I missed something? Queen a1? I don't think so. Yeah, great point in the chat there. We could even probably play rook a8 check first, actually, driving the king to g7, and then the queen's actually on a1. Great point. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Owen. And the queen would actually be pinning a rook or a queen to the king coming onto g7. Yeah, great spot. Queen a1 from Lightbringer would have been really a cat amongst the chickens, because that would have really made even work. He's still a pawn up in a drawn ending. That would have been really tough. Lightbringer, you played really well there. They're on to their fourth game. We're going to flip back to Group A, see what's actually happened here. So have these games just happened or not? Tutankhamun and Not Again against Decode. So let's just have a quick look. I'll have to search like this. So Not Again 61. Did you play? So I think, okay, so Not Again did actually play against Tutankhamun. It was Tutankhamun, Not Again against Decode. So, okay, so Decode has beaten Not Again 61-4-0. I think Not Again was pretty tired, so thank you very much for playing consistently. But that's Decode of the Wizards. Looks like he's putting himself in a good position there. That actually was the match that actually meant who goes for the first top 2 spots, I should imagine. So if we just click on the results here for Group A. So the Pit Ponies have won all their matches. Looks like, so just double check. So we beat the Wizards, Wolfhounds. So this one's still going at the moment, but he's 3-0 up against LPJ. Wizards of Decode, 3 out of 4, just beat Not Again of 61 of the Wolfhounds. So that was the match for the first top 2 spots. But it looks like so Pit Ponies and the Wizards, that confirms they're the 2 teams that are going through in places 1 and 2 to the elimination semi-finals next week. They'll play the top 2 spots from Group B. And you've got the Wolfhounds and the Pirates going through to play the 3 and 4 place in Group B as well. So really interesting stuff. So we've actually just got some of the games just loading in here, which is good to see. So you can see how that. Hang on, what was it? Black win and then another black win. How did that work? I thought that was 3-0. Maybe I missed that result there. Let me just have a look at that again. So Pit Ponies against LPJ. So, the Pirates. LPJ did actually win one. So actually, it was 2-1. So let's just check into that 4th game actually. For Tutankhamun against LPJ, and it has finished. And he's lost. Oh, do they need an Armageddon? Have we got an Armageddon? That's win-loss, win-loss. Are we going to Armageddon? We must be going to Armageddon, surely. So I need to do some things here. This is very exciting. I'm just going to make sure that they're both aware. I'll start it off for them. So apologies everybody, I know that you want me to talk about chess, but let me just start this off because this is very exciting. What do I need to what do I need to type for an Armageddon now? There it is. Armageddon matches there. Okay, I can do this. Oh, the first 2 games weren't played. There were connection timeouts. Oh. Oh, it's 1-1, is it? Okay, so these 2 were connection timeouts. And then these 2 are the real games. Okay, right. I was getting too excited then, everybody. My apologies, but okay, fair enough. Well, no. We'll leave it at 1-1 at the moment. We'll come back to that. I was getting too excited to start an Armageddon game now, which we'll have to obviously keep track of. I tell you what, we're going to switch back actually to Ethan RJ against before looking at the Welsh Tiger, because this is against Bulanov. Because so Lightbringer is really, so that's pulled through some different games. Group B here. So black one and then. Hang on, black one again, what? Is that really? Oh, Major Coast 1. So that's 1-1 between Bulanov and the Welsh Tiger. Absolutely huge result there. But I just want to click on this one because this was Ethan RJ finishing off Lightbringer here. And he's already won, but can we just go back a few moves here? Look at this. Actually, Rook, bishop, and pawn against rook and bishop. Fair play, Lightbringer. Hats off to you, sir. You know, you should have been absolutely destroyed in this game, but you've really made even work for it. And okay, you blunder your bishop here. Well, not blunder your bishop. You kind of lose your bishop because your king is attached to it, and you never want to leave your bishop being attacked. But this could have been a draw. And okay, we're here now at the moment, and this is Lightbringer's final group game. Same for Even, or I think even might go through to the 1 and 2 spots, but I'll have to see what happens with the tie breaks at the end of it all. And we're just waiting for Even to checkmate Lightbringer here. And this is the artists for Ethan RJ, who've got themselves a really good player against Lightbringer of the Goats, who's going to be Welsh Esports League. I don't know. What's the correct title for Lightbringer here? Welsh Esports League, and there it is, checkmate. We'll come up with a name for it in a bit, but both probably going to be playing elimination games next week. Good luck with your exams tomorrow, Even, and well played in your games tonight. Good win against the Tiger earlier on as well, so really put yourself right up there. So that's over. So I guess we're going to switch to Bulanov against the Welsh Tiger. It's currently 1-1 at the moment. Black won both games in the first matches, so I'll flick over to this one. Let's see what's going on here. So Bulanov is playing with the white pieces for the Sea Dragons. Welsh Tiger black pieces for Dragons RFC. And as you see, we've got yet again another rook and pawn ending. Bulanov loves these, and you know, there's not really much going on here. This is, you could just agree a draw, guys. They won't do. I mean, rook here would attack this, but just rook g1 would stop it. There's not many pawn breaks that can happen. So what's the time like? So 3 minutes to 4 minutes. Loads of time on the clocks for both players. I mean, anything can happen, right? We've got some artist fans in the chat, which is good. Chess Arbitress, it would be good to remove those first 2 games from Tutankhamun and LJP. They can't accept a rematch now because of... we can put in another... okay. You can't press accept on rematch offers because the first 2 games were unfortunately timed out due to a connection issue, and therefore it looks like you played 4 games, but you've actually only played 2, and then when you want to rematch again to play, the system's telling you that you can't because it's only 4 games. I guess I'm going to leave the Chess Arbitress to sort that out for you to hopefully help us with the techno side here. But just going back to here, we've got Bulanov against the Welsh Tiger, and I missed that passage of play there as I was talking, but actually Bulanov looks like he's come out of this a pawn up, which is really good. I'm a bit worried about this pass B pawn, and also these pawns are on the same file as well, so they're not as dangerous if they were if, say, for example, this pawn was here, that would be super dangerous having these connected pass pawns. The white king is pretty safe, but like one of his rooks is basically out of action because it's having to defend the g pawn. So he's going to have to do everything with the rook on h4. This could be what Bulanov wants. You know, he thinks he can outplay the Tiger in this endgame. I think it's going to be tough, and the Tiger's still got 4 minutes on his clock. Could he use more time to find better moves? Maybe. But he knows that if he drills Bulanov of the Sea Dragons down, he's going to make mistakes. But he's still got 1.5 minutes left. It's still pretty easy. And more artist fans filling up the chat. Wow. Ethan RJ has got his fan base. And he doesn't need them. He's got like 600 followers on Twitch already, I think. I think he's fine. But he's definitely going to be a fan favourite for sure. I do not know who's winning this rook and pawn ending. It is very complicated. Black's king is just more active than White's, but White's got the extra pawn. Anything can happen. I know how I try and entangle, and Bulanov's done that. He's moved his king forward, so now this pawn's ready to go because it's not pinned anymore. But we have this pawn on b4, which is coming down. It's going to be really difficult to stop that. So even if you're watching the chat, I'm sure we'll be able to update results afterwards. It's not a problem. I'm pretty sure they updated it. Your result is actually correct at the end, because I know that you won either 3-0 or 3.5-half, wasn't it? So where was that? That was the Artists against Dragons RFC, and that was the earlier one. Yeah, it should be. It's not updated on the match results, has it? It's still showing as 2-1 on the individual match results. That should be 3-0 actually, which would change the groups. Yeah, Artists against the Dragons has not quite got the right scoreline, because tie breaks could be very important here. Very important indeed. And okay, what's happened here then? Okay, so Welsh Tiger maybe has like a draw somewhere here with perpetual check if he wants it. Maybe not anymore. But he's going for the win here with this pawn on b2. He's the first to get a pawn to the second rank. But these two pawns are definitely going to be good, although Bulanov's lost one. But it's maybe not easy to see. This is so close, this is so tight, and I know they might be watching the stream as well, but I would have played it slightly differently. So back here, for example, I think I would have played king f4, and the reason being is that if the rook takes pawn, if I go rook here check, I get to swap off a pair of rooks. And now what my plan is that if they can't do rook takes g6 because I take on b2 and I've got 2 against 1, I'm definitely not losing that game, but I've got great chances to win. If he tries to bring the king down to actually come and take it, then we can bring our king here and actually promote our pawn. So both pawns claim a rook, but we're left with 2 pawns, he's left with only 1. So that's the way that I go back there. But okay, that didn't happen. We go to here, king e7, and White's king has finally got really active, and he's got a really strong pawn. This rook will give itself up for this pawn at the opportune moment. Really, really close. Chess Arbitress, the incorrect result's not on your side, it's on the Welsh Esports League website. Yeah, Ethan will make sure that the results are all correct before finalising anything. So I think actually I've just been told it's been updated. Yeah, 3-0, yeah, good. There we go, so for and against, it's looking so close in this group, but we cannot take our eyes off this match. I think Bulanov needs to win it from here. I think he fancies his chances of winning it from here as well. There's been some more moves played. Let me go back and then go forwards, or actually just research for them. Can't take your eyes off this match, really cannot. And we'll also have an update from the other group as well, because I know that Tutankhamun and LJP are playing their more matches. Okay, this has not gone the Tigers' way, but Bulanov down to 23 seconds on the clock. Got a little bit of work to do to convert this. That's a really good move, king f6. Fantastic move. Attacks the rook, gets out of this check as well when the pawn was being taken. It means that it's just causing an issue for the Tiger. g7 played just the wrong way. He's going to lose that pawn. Can he keep it together now? The 2 connected pawns in the centre should be really strong, but there's just so many checks coming his way. Just a bit unsure about how to actually do it. Oh no, oh no. Could this be a complete turnaround? I'm trying to win it. I think that could actually be game over for Bulanov. Welsh Tiger is now going to mop it up. This rook takes this pawn, the king claims this rook, and Bulanov will be absolutely devastated. this has been so unlucky. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. The pawn will queen eventually, and he'll be able to claim it. The tiger strikes, and that time that Bulanov was under 30 seconds on the clock, the time advantage he had, finally come back to win it for the Welsh Tiger. The key moment was all the way back here. Bulanov had massive lead in this endgame. Just a few little things here. For example, here, I'd have played King F4. Let me just go back for a second. We're going to go back to that game because that was absolutely crucial. That was heartbreaking for Bulanov. He knows he should have won this game. This was really bad. I really feel for him. So all the way back here, like here, King F4 would have allowed him to exchange rooks after rook takes pawn and just made his life a bit easier. He went this way, and all these checks you see, and he got his king active, and then here he's, he can't push the pawn. Well, why not push the pawn forward, actually? Why not just push it forward? It makes g7, it forces one of the black rooks to go behind it. I guess the problem is g7 and rook g5, and he can't defend it. That's the issue for it, so that's why he didn't do that one. So he can't push it, but now rook b6, king forward, and just this is stronger than this. Takes that, he goes there, defends it. This was a good move. And then here, this is where it just started to go wrong. He now pushes, and the problem is, after check, he has to come away from the pawn. Whereas here, if the check happened, he can actually go king g7 and actually stay connected to the pawn. So I think here, a winning move might actually be maybe, or a good move, might even be king f7, but also maybe just d5 as well. Let's get another pawn going forward. Might be a good idea. Like here, he's not losing. If he does rook takes pawn, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, king takes rook. This is at least a draw, at least. I mean, like g7 and king f7, and then the rook has to give itself up to the pawn, and maybe the king will take these before you get there. But I think what you can do is maybe give a load of checks and stuff. Actually, maybe even here, that might even be winning after d5. So you can't possibly lose this as white. So Bulanov had at least a draw in the bag if he just gave up the rook for the pawns on d2. But maybe d5 is even winning here. I'm guessing something like rook takes e3. I mean, maybe we even go e4. Maybe this is the way to play it. And then you basically say, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to push this pawn all the way to the end. And actually, this could even be winning. So this is gutting for him. But g7 loses one pawn. He plays d5 and it all goes wrong. And after this check, this combination wins another pawn. And the problem is he's got no more passed pawns. This claims the rook, and the rook can stop that pawn. Very, very unfortunate there. But these, it's all fine margins. Trying to calculate that with 20 seconds left on your clock is never easy. Really tough stuff. So we have here some matches that are being played between Tutankhamun and LPJ. I'm sure we're trying to work out what's going on there. So it looks like, did Black win in every single game or not? I can't even figure this out. Okay, it finished 3-1, did it? Okay, so we don't need an Armageddon. I will trust you on that one. I'm sure we'll update that much in the future. So that's that one. We had okay, that's a different round. So round 5 was it just Tutankhamun and LPG that were playing? Just double check that. I know Notagain and Decode, they played more matches. They just haven't pulled through yet. But Decode won that 4-0, I believe. So those are the top two. So we've just got Lightbringer of the Goats lost 4-0 to Ethan RJ of the Artists. So literally, last game playing then is the Welsh Tiger against Bulanov. Bulanov has to win to take it to Armageddon, which is going to be so close. And I mean, maybe somebody can help me, but if it's a draw and it's 2.5, 1.5 to the Tiger, who goes through? I think actually the Tiger goes out. I think a draw is actually enough for Bulanov to go through to the top two because the Tiger lost 3.5 half to Ethan RJ of the Artists. So because of that huge loss, actually, so Bulanov's 2-1 down here. He needs to... Maybe he's already through, actually. I think he's already through because... I think that's it. He only needed the 1 point because he's bettered the half point that the Tiger got against Ethan RJ. So I think he's already through, actually. Let me have a look at that. So it would be an extra 3 points, so the match points would all be equal. The artist, Ethan RJ, definitely through because he will have 4-12. Sea Dragons Bulanov will be 4-11. Dragons RFC would be 4-11 as well. But against Dragons RFC would have 3 against. Mind you, Sea Dragons Bulanov would also have an extra 3 against as well. So they both have 4 against, and they both be tied up on 11-4 as well. So actually, no, I think a draw sends Bullen through for definite. But a loss, I can't work out the maths in my head. It's just too complicated. I mean, I don't think it is actually that complicated, but trying to do commentary at the same time as trying to work it out is crazy. And not again in 61 and decode. I'm not sure about that one. This is tense stuff. So here we have Bulanov playing the black pieces. He's a pawn. It's equal pawns, but this pawn in d5 is pretty strong. Going forward, it's what we call a protected pass pawn. So there's no pawns that can stop it. But the c4 pawn here is guarding it. So it's protected and passed, so he's just not going to let it go past that point. With the light square bishops being on the board, it's going to be really difficult to dislodge this, but you don't want to swap off too much stuff, because what he's hoping for here is probably just hoping for a draw here. Bishop takes h3 is risky here. Bishop takes h3 is a risky move. He's just snatched the pawn here and just taken a slight lead. He's allowing queen e8 check, just saying, do you know what, I'll go king g7, you haven't got anything. But it's just kind of asking it the question, like queen e8 check, queen c6, you know, can that pawn get through? Yeah, it's we're really going to have to look at the rules on what happens if Greg wins this one. But thinking about it in a different way, what all the scores were in that three-way matchup, with Ethan RJ beating the Welsh Tiger 3-0, the Welsh Tiger would beat Bulanov 3-1 if he wins. I need to write this down. I need to add it up. To see what happens. It doesn't make sense. They won the rest of the games 4-0, right? They won every single other game 4-0, I think. So therefore, so Ethan RJ got 1.5 points and 3.5. Bulanov got 2.5 and maybe 1. Welsh Tiger. Because Bulanov only won 2.5, 1.5. The Welsh Tiger wins 3.5. Then yeah, Welsh Tiger looks like he would go through, wouldn't he? So 3-0, 2, 3. So Ethan RJ is definitely through for the artists. Bulanov is actually no, it'd be equal. They'd be all equal, but it comes down to the individual match. And if Welsh Tiger beats Bulanov 3-1, then well, he's probably going to go through head-to-head results. So Bulanov needs to draw, and he's a pawn up, so he's happy. But that's a risky move. Such a risky move, taking that pawn. But has he seen something? He's seen something. So I say it's risky, and the reason why I say it's risky is that, like here, for example, if all he needs is a draw, then just hold the game, don't do anything else. You probably put your queen on d6, guards this pawn. White can't attack it again. He's got 2 attackers, pawn and queen, 2 defenders. White can't attack it again because it's all on the light squared bishops. And you play a move like h5, maybe you eventually get some more pawns going forward. But it's a risky move here because after takes, The reason is that after takes, I was saying it was risky because I was like, oh my god, c5 is coming. These two connected pawns are going to be steamrolling down blacks. But Welsh Tiger saw he couldn't take because he had queen a4 check. He's missed this little tactic. Whatever he does here, blocks with a bishop or moves his king. Bulanov was actually going to take another pawn, and it was going to be well in Bulanov's favour to actually win. And instead, he's moved the bishop, taken another pawn, and this is looking very good for Bulanov at the moment. But then again, the last game looked very good for Bulanov. He's got plenty of time this time. Now look at the Tigers' time. Bulanov's over 2 minutes. Welsh Tigers down to 1 minute 20. We have not seen this before. Welsh Tigers been rushing his moves almost in the previous games, and here he is, playing pretty quickly. Really, he swapped off the bishops. Let me just refresh the page so we can see it live as well. So watch this. This is, Bulanov should not lose this game from here. It is possible, though, with this d-pawn. It is possible, but he shouldn't lose from here. There should be loads of checks. He needs half a point. Although he might not know that. He might be thinking, I need to win. Does he know he only needs half a point? I don't know. Half a point would see him go through on match scores. So he won 2.5, 1.5, lost 2.5, 1.5. But with the Tiger losing 3-0 or 3.5 to Ethan RJ, that would send the Tiger down to the third spot. So this is so close. So close. That pawn on d6 is super strong. It's going to tie down the black pieces. Black's extra pawns, they don't count for much until they go forward. This is the game. And we knew it was going to come down to this, didn't we? It was the last matchup. Two big hitters. Candidate Master playing with the black pieces here. FIDE Master playing with the white pieces. Although the Welsh Tigers rating has dropped recently. And now if I'm Bulanov, I'm just checking that white king on every single possible square I can do. It's going to be a death by checks now. That king is so exposed. Let's just keep checking it. We don't need to. He just needs the draw. He could have got a draw in the last game, couldn't he? He could have just swapped off and got the draw. And he would have even had winning chances too. Does he know he needs a draw though? Oh, are they going to take the draw? It's done. It's done. He's drawn. Repetition. Welsh Tiger thinks this is good enough for the match victory, and it is good enough for the match victory. But just doing a quick count up now, I think that means, because that's only a 2-1 victory, because of the against, actually, I think. The against scores is going to mean that he's not gone through, I think. I think it's going to be Bulanov. So we'll wait for that to be updated on the group stages. I'll just have a quick look around at some of the other matches just as we go through. I had an update from the Pit Ponies and Tutankhamun against not against 61 of the Wolfhound. No, it was against LPJ. I believe that this was 3-1. So Tutankhamun won the first one. LPJ, I'm telling you, you played some good chess and were very unlucky to lose earlier on tonight. Gets a victory against Tutankhamun in an individual game. Really well played there. Look at the ratings. And then Pit Ponies, Tutankhamun says, no, you're not getting past me. Wins the next two games. Takes that down 3-1 to finish top of their group. And get, I want to say a slightly favourable fixture, but playing the top two in Group B is going to be a really difficult ask, whatever you do. And then obviously the Wizards of Decode played against Not Again. I think Not Again 61 defaulted the rest of the games, or if they did, Decode did win them all. So he goes through there, and that group is sorted. The other group is much closer, really close. So you can see here. Okay, we're not too sure about these tie breaks being absolutely spot on, but it looks like the groups have just been updated. Let me just have a quick look. Okay, so it would be great if we could maybe come off the chess.com app, and if we switch around to the groups, that would be absolutely perfect, and from the Welsh Esports League, because I know that the tie breaks here aren't exactly perfect, perfectly matched up on the chess.com at the moment, but we will be updating those afterwards. So thank you very much, by the way. I know that you're in the Twitch chat, Chess Arbitress, for helping us. Please, thank you. So we can see Group A, as mentioned already, Pit Ponies and the Wizards are through as the 1 and 2. They'll be playing for the top 4 spots in the elimination next week for the semi-finals. That's starting at 7 o'clock. Wolfhounds and the Pirates, they'll be going through to 3rd and 4th, or 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place eliminations next week as well. Unlucky Robins, and hopefully see you next season. You are eliminated from this time, but Group B is where it's all at. It's absolutely huge. We see those top 3 teams, all with master level players. Ethan RJ of the Artists finishes top of the group. Must have been a bit gutted to lose to Bullenov of the Sea Dragons last week. Came back strong to beat Welsh Tiger by a big scoreline, 3.5-half. And because of that result, we had a triangular kind of matchup last weekend. Bullenov beat Sea Dragons, beat the Artists. Today, Artists beat Dragons RFC. Dragons RFC beat the Sea Dragons, so we had a 3-way kind of win. But because of that huge scoreline of the Artists against Dragons RFC winning 3.5-half, the other scorelines were 2.5, 1.5, which means that it's more against, just one less victory for the Dragons RFC, and one more against, which means that the Sea Dragons Bullenov will be very happy to go through with Ethan RJ, the Artists, to play for the top 4 spots against the Wizards and the Pit Ponies next week. And then we're going to have Welsh Tiger and Dragons RFC Goats of Lightbringer playing against Wolfhounds and Pirates next week for their semi-final, playing for spots 5 to 8. So it is all to play for. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely huge. So the tie breaks are going to be obviously game points first of all, and then so for how many wins they've got, and then against how many losses they've got, and then it will go, if that's level, then it will go to head to head. But you know what? Massive thank you to Welsh Esports and also chess.com. What an enjoyable event to watch, an enjoyable night of a lot of chess. Okay, that brings us towards the close. Thanks very much for watching. Join us next week at 7 o'clock, and we'll see what's going on there. Bye-bye, everybody. Well played.